All right, all right. Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to yet another edition of your Hex Happy Hour show. No, Cabana did not fall asleep on the sand. I'm here, alive. Motley's here with a nice little koozie there. What you
Thank
got
you.
there?
HEXmerch.com.
Hexmerch.com.
Lot of cool stuff. Go check it out.
We know
Delightful little
someone
koozie.
who runs that site, I believe. Or two
maybe.
sites, or
Maybe.
a couple guys that are in that, and we have, of course, that was just Motley. Crypto Vince 369 down there. What's up, Vince? How you doing?
Doing good.
And so far in the chat, Wendy's for Tendies, first time on, man. Welcome.
Thank you. What's up, everyone?
Oh my God, you're a dude? What the fuck?
I thought you were a chick.
Wait, you can't tell from my avatar?
Oh my God.
Avatar says what?
It's a shin.
Wendy, your dad is Dave, right? Thomas.
Dave Thomas? Oh yeah, the greatest.
For
the only
the
thing
old
square
school.
about me is the patties.
Hey, those are good patties.
They
though.
are very good patties.
Wendy's patties are on point for fast food, anyways.
Yep, totally.
They don't
Like
cut
that,
much.
and who's got the best fries? I'd say Mickey D's.
Yeah, I do like
the fries is
I'll
tough.
say this: the fries, like if you get the special fries at like Wendy's, because they'll have like bacon, cheese, all that kind of stuff, they're better. But like just fry for fry, I think it's Arby's, then Wendy's, and then Arby's, McDonald's, and Wendy's.
Arby's has some good fries, but it's
I'm
been a
gonna say
while.
Five Guys.
No,
They're too
no,
salty.
they're not. They're not.
Fries are
They're
bomb.
not crispy enough, bro. They're too
Yeah.
soft. You
Yeah,
have.
Wendy's-
You need to be crisp.
You can
need a crisp.
just get them extra crispy.
Wendy's are
What?
pasty. They're I don't know, just too pasty for me. McDonald's is
Pasty?
good.
Is that a flavor? Is that a flavor?
like-
You
Well,
don't
evidently at
you don't,
Wendy's,
you don't
they're
like,
like
you don't like the
pasty just like
coloration
me.
of your
Like
fries.
they're like limp and
Excuse me,
just
sir. These fries
awful.
are too white for me. Can you get them out of here? They need to be
Wow.
tanned up a little bit.
I like a firm fry, thank you. No,
I don't. I just never heard anyone
Yes.
refer
He
to a
doesn't
fry
like
as
flaccid
pasty.
fries.
This is
Evidently,
the
you do,
content
Vince.
you come
Five
for.
Guys. Ooh.
This is the content
something you
everybody
can take
comes
for
to
that,
happy
I
hour
think.
for. So
little blue gas station pill like RG3 likes to talk about.
Oh yeah.
and this is how we start the show. So, hey everyone, Kaz, thank you for liking the thumbnail. I found out that our panel didn't really get it. We were talking in the green room, and it was like, oh, it is Friday the 13th, kind of.
Bro, when you don't have to work anymore, do days really matter?
Yeah.
Hey, are you like done?
No, I finished. Friday's my last official day, but
done,
I mean,
done.
I haven't worked this week. No one gives a fuck, Wendy's. All right,
Guys,
gosh.
done.
Marion's
Yeah, no.
onto us here, so yeah, that's where
What's
we
up?
were. Confessed.
Yeah,
We've been
we started to go into the topics, but Cabana started yelling at us to save it to the stream.
Be like, why don't we discuss this with everyone else? Yeah.
I honestly didn't know. I was like about to start going off. I was like, oh.
So, Wendy's, you say you're about done or done?
He's
I've been done. Yeah, I've been done.
Oh, nice.
For a few months now. Yeah, it's been good. You know, I was a nurse, so you know, obviously as a nurse, this is like pretty much the most stressful time in our career. Like we were all joking about it, that it was like basically our Vietnam, you know, stress wise. And
I
so I was working two jobs. So I was working like 80 hours a week, and I was ready to be done. I was really, really ready to be done. I just, you know, grinded the bear market, and I knew that probably by 2022 I would retire. But you know, Hex did amazing, and crypto mooned early, so I'm done.
Well, congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a big blessing.
That's outstanding. Patrick Wave, the third wave, Wasabi
Wave.
guy. That guy. Wave 3.
Wave 3 TV. If you
Wave
want.
3 TV. Did a podcast with him a couple nights ago, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be like a fun chat. It's gonna be like an hour, and it ended up being like 4 hours or something. It was like
Wow.
insane. It was such a good time, and I think he's like putting that out next week. But it was just all crypto, and of course a lot of Hex, a lot of Pulse. But I brought that up because that the you know, cutting out from the work world came up there, and I was like, man, I would be if it weren't for PulseChain. So it sucked me right back in with the funds that I was riding off into the sunset with. But I'm happy about it. I'm very comfortable, like you and Motley. And Vince always looks comfortable anyway. So
Vince is very comfortable.
Maybe a little too comfortable.
He just lives like a poor college student, but he's very comfortable.
Motley's about done. He's got like a week left, and then him, and I think Wasabi are going to see Big K in Puerto Rico. Hexo Rico.
Hell yeah!
So we're gonna scope out the scene down there. Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome. Let's see. Yeah, I was planning on going next month, but it didn't work out. We have a visualizer here, Wrenchy T, with the Wave 3 TV. Get it? Get it? Very nice. Creative bunch. Piston.
10 out of 10.
Thanks, man. Just don't tell any of the other streamers. Or do you tell the other streamers in those comments and you're just, using it on us?
Let's do it. Let's get into a stream feud.
Everybody is my
Yes.
Let's get beef with somebody.
East Coast, West Coast battle.
Yeah. We have a request from Axie HQ Live here. Big Kirkowski, ? Hold on. Let me see what I can do.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh.
All right. Hey, what's up?
There's the camera angle we love.
What is going?
Just for your enjoyment pleasure. Hello, sirs. How is everyone doing?
There he is.
Hello.
What's going on? How are you doing?
Oh,
and he's God. In flawless form, as always. Oh, there we go.
Turns
There
out
we go.
that I had the screen lock on. But anyways, gentlemen, how's everybody doing this fine Friday happy hour day?
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Be careful.
You know, when I was younger, I used to rock that on my hockey jersey. I was a big fan of I went like full spectrum. So when I was younger, I thought 13 was my lucky number. And now I've grown into the realization that 7 is actually my lucky number. And that's only because
nice.
Yeah. It's only because my phone number has 5 7s in it, and so does my social, and my ID here in Puerto Rico has like 4 7s in it for like 7 numbers. So like it's all 7s coming up here. So you can fight it all you want, but that's the reality. But
I like 8.
I used to love Friday the 13th. I used to like revel in the 13iness of things until somebody until I joined a hockey team and they're like, nah, this kid has 13, and I was like, God damn it. So
Are you a defenseman?
I was a defenseman, but I was too big. Like I was like 180, 190 pounds and in like 7th grade. It wasn't really fair for other people.
Okay.
So they put me at starting center because I was just like crushing kids. I am a more defensive minded person, and can guard the net better than most and keep people at the slot better than you'd like. But at the end of the day, I can also cherry pick like a motherfucker, and I know how to get down the ice quicker than most. So, I played a little more starting center than defenseman, but I started as defenseman, and that was what I used to. Like that's what I'm actually good at. It wasn't until I played on like a USA team I'm horn tooting over here, but I played on like a USA team, and they put me up to like second string right wing right away because I was a good lineman, But I used to play. A defenseman was my game, I can remember my coach when I first scored my first goal, and he was like, "You're a defenseman. You're not supposed to be scoring goals. Why should I give you this puck?"
Well, thank you for that update. I never knew. I always wanted to know about the hockey career of Big K. So I've heard you mention it on other streams. So
I mean, that was good. If it wasn't for the fact that I moved to Florida, I might have gotten like a scholarship or something like that. Because again, it was half of me being good and half of the fact that I was like 185 pounds in 7th grade. It wasn't really fair.
Yeah. I'm just proud to play at a high level with a bunch of my friends that are about 15 years younger than I am, and I'm gonna do that until I can't anymore, and then I'll play golf. Everybody wants me to play golf, and I'm like, I can't do that yet. Like I'm not wired that way. I gotta have like the
tough thing
the
for
speed
me
and the contact.
the speed was like made me so happy. But when I joined a men's league and everybody was like 10 years my senior, and like, you know, I came from a full checking, full contact, like let's go environment. And then they're all like, whoa, it's Thursday night. We're not trying to break a hit before, you know, I got a meeting at the conference room tomorrow. You know, it's a very
we have to
different
go out into the
environment.
parking lot and drink some beers later.
Yeah, exactly. That was that's exactly 100%. Those dudes were like, hey, we're gonna all be like, I was being aggressive with the other team as I was used to being. And they're like, yo, we're going to be like drinking beers and smoking a couple with those boys later. So you might not want to be that big of an asshole, you know.
I got kicked off the high school basketball team for fucking it up. I was pretty violent back in the day.
Wow.
I wasn't that
Yeah,
great
it was
basketball.
really bad. It was, but the coach
was-
actually told me to do it, and the coach had to like apologize in front of the entire school. I was like, yep, I told him. I said we were losing really, really bad, and like I was just like, you know, I was jonesing, and he's like, yeah,
Flagrant foul.
Yeah, he's like, fuck him up. And basically, like, I ran in and, like, I leaned in, like, low and, like, lifted up. And I basically, like back body dropped the guy.
Oh.
And like, every mom that was on the bench came off the bench and, like literally charged the court, like chasing me. It was
Like,
totally
stop
insane.
him!
Hey, that's kind of
Get
cool,
him!
man. Getting chased by all the moms.
It was pretty crazy, man. Like, it was bad. It was bad. It, like, actually, like, felt
I was
bad
more of
afterwards 'cause
I was more of the shit talker. Like, I was the guy that would be like, as soon as you put up a shot in basketball, I'd be like, you're gonna miss. You know, I was
That guy.
jinxer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was that guy. I had no other skills in basketball. That was as good as I could get.
Nice. All right, just rolling through the chat here. Yes, it is Friday. Children of the Grave. Yes, I don't think you missed a notification because you're here. Wally Saurus, what is up, everyone? We have not done the joke off in a while just because of the heavy news cycle. So stay tuned for a few weeks for that. Rick, what's up, man? I see you here like every week. DJ Cryptomatic, what is up? Amigo, Hex, Fetty, Lights Out. Yes, Motley is hiding the golden chart, or maybe he's hiding Wave 3 TV, who has the golden chart. I don't know.
I got a copy too.
Okay.
Holding him hostage.
Wales Early, what's up? Yes, Big K is in the house. And Drew Tate, what is going on? Wally Source kind of joking. Yeah, to be honest, it feels like some streamers are starting to beef with each other.
Yep.
Not us at all, but if you watch
Fuck
enough
that.
streams, you probably know who he's talking about there. And it's, I don't know.
Hey,
I get
you
a
know-
chuckle out of it.
Stream Wars.
Dream Wars.
Drama sells.
Tune in
man.
next time.
Drama sells. I can't help but like.
Look,
it, you know?
it's inevitable when a community is like very, very small and in
Exactly.
the beginning, everybody gets along. When it gets bigger,
Yeah.
like personalities start getting involved, and you know, sometimes like money gets involved, and then you know, people show their sides. So you know,
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
It's-
I mean,
Inevitable.
that is for sure, Wendy's. I mean, we're gonna see that more and more every day when Hex continues its path. You know, like I mean, the real cats that are trying to do good in this world will easily be shown forth. You know, so I got a question for the crew here. Should I do a rosé that's a specially bottled rosé for Dorado Beach Ritz here, or
I'm
should I
liking
do
it
this-
already.
All right, so then I'll do that instead of.
He doesn't even give the second option. He's like, all right,
that's what I'm
Molly's
doing.
smoking. Rosé it
The
is.
second option is your typical Laurent Perrier champagne bottle here, brut.
Oh hell yeah!
Fancy.
Do the rosé. Do the rosé.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this
That was a
rosé,
move.
I just tried it today. It's made specifically for Dorado Beach Ritz here, as you can see, but it's from a French distillery in Bourguignon, I think, province. Let me go grab a uncorking device here. I felt like there was one right here. Oh no, this might be a bad Big K, Big J session, considering that I don't know where any of my abilities to uncork this sucker is. Oh,
Well,
there's a whole
we will
bar
bail
here,
you
so
out.
there should-
So
Oh, we
we're
got
here
it.
to
We
help.
got it. We got it. We got it. We got
All
it.
right.
We found a bar here. You see, there's a mini bar here. You know, so you
Oh,
see
that's
all the
nice.
accoutrements. Yeah, you got your mini Patron, your mini Chopin, all the minis that you need. So we found a uncorking device here. So yes, this is a lovely bottle of Cavés d'Escalons, which is a Côtes de Provence French rosé. Now, apparently, from what I understand from this particular version of rosé, the people who own this winery have come out here to the Ritz Dorado Beach, and they fell in love with the place, and they loved it. So instead of, just paying a bunch of money to come back here or something, they decided to do something cooler and make a bottle of rosé that can only be sold here at Dorado Beach. And so I highly recommend, because I'm not a rosé fan. I like cabs mostly. I like Malbecs too. I'm a big fan of Malbecs, even though they're kind of a blend. I like Tempranillos if we're going to Spain, that kind of stuff. A little Shiraz if we're in Italy, But I'm not really a rosé fan. But while I was out, it was a hot day, and we ordered some oysters. You ever have some fresh ass oysters? It's not a bad call to appreciate a little rosé. And this is like I said, not my favorite kind of wine in the world, but when I saw this one on here and it said Dorado Beach, and I was like, there's not a winery here in Dorado Beach. And they said, yes, no, there's not a winery here, but it's from France. And the people who made this particular wine came here, fell in love with the spot, and it's an exclusive. So here it is, an exclusive rosé for Dorado Beach. Fantastic elements. Like I said, we're here for my birthday here this next couple of days. I know a couple big Ks with big Js ago. We were enjoying the Dorado Beach establishment as well. And here is now just a private single unit in the regular old, nothing fancy, but you still get all of the things that we were talking about before. So if you want an outdoor shower, as well as this sick ass tub, as well as this amazing view that comes out to here to, this breathtaking beach out here, along with what is your own plunge pool down there perfectly for your spot, then might I recommend the Ritz-Carlton Dorado Beach, because I enjoy myself here thoroughly. The staff here is elegant and wonderful. They treat me like the king that I know that I am. And they have this amazing rosé that, like I said, I'm not a fan of them, but this one deserves your attention. So, and thank you very much for giving me a private segment here. Appreciate it as always, Cabana. And I hope that everyone appreciated and enjoyed this lovely little big J's with big K's. It's not as exciting as taking the golf cart out around the whole establishment, but when you're here with your wife just for a romantic, quick little day getaway, then this is all you really need. This is all you really need.
Happy birthday, bud. Cheers.
Hell yeah.
Where's your wife? Is she hiding in the closet or something?
She was there.
Oh, no, she was in the plunge.
Walked off
she was in the plunge pool a second ago. She walked off. Yes. She's around as well. She's being a lovely lady for setting all of this magic up, and then also allowing me to talk to y'all for the better part of an hour.
You permission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wake
anyways, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all.
Hell yeah, we love the segment, and you're always you always have something, either products, material possessions, or experiences. So our audience loves it.
Well,
it comes to scenic locations, alcohol, or Louis Vuitton. One of those three.
Yes. I try and do
rolling papers.
Or papers.
True.
Or papers.
Your papers.
I can do great with a little, or I can do great with a lot. I'll make it exciting no matter what. But I appreciate everyone for watching, because sometimes it's not as exciting as I'd like it to be. But this one's very nice. It's exciting. It's fun. It's cool spot. Highly recommended in endeavors. I'll take you. Maybe we'll do a big J's, big J's, and big K in like the hood. We'll go down and we'll eat some hot dogs.
There you go. Switch it up.
Yeah.
We have lost big K.
We'll do the same. We'll do the same thing, but for $3 instead of $300. Yeah.
It's like, oh man, did someone's exhaust backfire? Nope.
Instead of champagne, we'll have like Mad Dog 2020.
Were we
Mad Dog
Were we joking about
2020,
bringing our guns down there too?
Yeah. Oh, I'm totally bringing my gun down there.
So that's a new thing that's actually really cool now, as opposed to like 2 years ago. Is that before 2 years ago you had to have a permit to even like pick up a gun here, but now you don't have to have a permit. You can be like
They
with a group
recognize
of people,
it.
like
They recognize
There's a lot-
every state's concealed carry now, don't they? I believe I
Wait,
saw
do
that
they?
yes,
somewhere.
they've started
Yeah.
to recognize
Oh.
everyone's concealed carry. They've started to
Yep.
allow their own concealed carry, which before in Puerto Rico, if you wanted a concealed carry, you might as well have had to like know the governor personally, because it's not that it wasn't on the books, but like to get your application passed through was not an easy job, you know. So the fact that the new governor has been as
That's
forthcoming
awesome.
with making that shit happen
That
is
is awesome.
And I think that it opens up a lot of like ecotourism kind of stuff, because I've talked about it before. Like, I'm a big fan of dove hunting. I really like, I mean, and dove hunting is one of those kinds of things that, like, you know, you might as well be shooting at flying cockroaches. Like, there's so many of them that, like, you're not doing the world a harm by killing these things. You're actually helping, and they're delicious. And
Bro,
they're more fun sport shooting.
I watched that today. Funny enough that you mentioned that. And one of the guys' shotguns he had loaded out, he had a silencer silencer for his shotgun. Oh my god, that thing was just completely quiet. It was so badass. And he had like
Dude, it's
I
so much
forgot
fun.
what
I
kind
mean,
of
if you go-
tactical shotgun he had, but it was nice. It was really nice.
And if you go to the right spots, like, I mean, silencer or not, like, I'll shoot more rounds shooting dove over 2 to 3 hours than I will shooting duck or shooting quail or shooting
Oh,
any
yeah.
other kind of
Like
like
you said,
game
there's
bird
thousands
that's
of
out
them.
there. Thousands. And the further
Yeah.
south you go, like if you go down to like Colombia and shit like that, there's even more along. There's so much more. So I mean, you could just point your gun in the air and basically take them down without even trying. So the fact that like there's an opportunity here for them to bring ecotourism, especially considering that like their dove season, because of the migratory patterns, is like slightly off from like the Florida, Georgia, southern dove season. I think that like it's coming around, you know, it's coming around. But before, you couldn't even pick up a shotgun if you didn't have a permit and a license and everything. Now
Yeah,
like
fuck
one
that.
guy can take 10 people out, you know. It's changed a lot, you know. So I think that that's for the better. So yeah, bring it on down. Let's set it up.
Doves are good, but they're like quail. Like they're good for like 2 bites. And then the meat's
2
gone,
bites.
so you gotta shoot.
I like
you gotta
to,
shoot a
I
lot.
like
of them.
to, I like to, do you like to, once you like de-breast them, I like to stuff like a little slice of jalapeno in them, wrap them in a piece of bacon, throw them on the grill. That's it. You know, it doesn't need much, you know, they're like little bacon wrap scallops or something.
You almost have to do the bacon wrap because they're so lean and then they cook so quickly, like they dry out otherwise.
Exactly. Otherwise, I mean, are you gonna baste? Are you gonna sit there with like some sort of fat and baste these little tiny birds for like an hour? No, not worth your time. Just wrap them in bacon,
Wrap
throw
that
a little
shit in
spice
bacon.
in there. You're good to go.
Almost reminds me of like
Everything's better with bacon.
steamed
Yes.
crabs. Like it's too much work. Like just give me the legs and like the meat and like if you gotta work that hard for just a little bit of meat, it's like
That's
I'm
Not
just
worth
late.
my time.
I'm just lazy like that. Just give me the big crab legs and
How
I'm good.
fancy are we here?
Yes.
It's not a big chunk of meat in his mouth. Cabana doesn't want it. None of that
Enough.
small meat.
Enough. Joe Hexotic, happy Friday to you. All right. So let's we spent enough time talking about fast food and pigeons and champagne and everything else. Guns. Let's get into I guess some crypto since we're like 30 minutes in. Well, 20 couple. But we were talking just in the green room, mentioned I brought up like the poly thing, and I'll bring it up here on screen. But
there's some wrecked kids out there.
yeah, Wendy's, could
Yes,
you
sir.
bring us up to speed, I guess, on like the latest? Because I've read like so many mixed messages of like, oh, the funds are being returned, but they're not. But it was a white hat hack and all that.
So one thing you got to know with crypto is, you know, I think people have like a misunderstanding of like how smart contracts work. It's not the most efficient code. And I guess like a good analogy is basically like a vending machine, right? So this hacker probably had some inside information, but basically the the contract was able to operate over multiple chains. And then, of course, every time you add, like complexity where you're adding like multiple chains and stuff, and there's an area that could have like an exploit or vulnerability. So basically, what the guy did was he sent a message to the contract, and the contract thought that he had like an admin privilege, even though he didn't. So he was able to essentially like drain all the funds. So then he sent like some guy like $45,000 because one guy was saying, hey, you're on the USDT blacklist, you can't spend your USDT. So he's like, oh, thanks. And he sent the guy like 45 G's. Then it came out that like there is a lot of crypto security firms now, and if you're not really, really careful, and the more money that is behind something, the more incentive they have to catch you. Yeah, so there's like Chainalysis and others, and one of them, it wasn't Chainalysis, I can't remember who it was. They basically had him like dead to rights. They doxed him, and they're like, we know who this is, we know his email, we know everything about him. So after that came out, the team basically was like, and it's kind of true, like you're not really gonna get like there's things that you could potentially do, which I've never seen anybody do, but like
don't make it public.
Should I not say?
Yeah, don't do it. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's just say Wendy's has a couple clever ways that you could actually get rid of the money, like scot-free.
But
I
anyway, so they had him dead to rights and everything like that. So the team basically like sent him a message and said, hey, we'll pay you $500,000. You just need to return all the money. So as of the last thing I heard, he's returning the money. I don't know if he's returned all of it yet. I know he did. He did send some people some money.
Amount.
Yeah, but if he had to make some money, in DeFi real quick to get the money back that he spent or sent people, I'm sure it would take less than a day. So
Easy.
I assume that he will send the money back because even if they don't know who he is, you really got to know what you're doing to get away with any kind of benefit from that. So.
100%. I mean, you can make some good interest on 600 million.
Yeah, but I mean, some dude named Chef Nomi still gave all the money back because he knew that like you can only run around this world so many times before you're just running in a fucking circle. Like these people, like the danger.
Look at Alex Saunders. People want to break his kneecaps right now.
Yeah, as opposed to like making some fucking cure-all serum back in like the middle, like the old Westy times and shit, and being like, it works, like you can be out of town and be gone. Like you're not hiding from this shit. You're not gonna enjoy yourself in Tahiti or Dorado Beach or wherever the fuck you think you're gonna go, without somebody knowing that you're, that this is like there not being a paper trail a mile fucking long on this shit, and people very inclined to spend their hard-earned time and money fucking finding you because you've stolen their life savings. I mean, that is a reality that like it's easier when any of these hackers getting out like that. I mean, the fact that God love the U.S. government for being like, we don't negotiate with terrorists, because like they've had a policy for that for a long time. But like, it seems like a lot of people in the crypto industry are more than willing to negotiate with terrorists. And like, if I was a terrorist in that position, I'd be more than happy to fucking give the money back for the pittance that I was going to make scot-free for not having to worry about a lifetime of people chasing after me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 500,000 is good for a day's work, right?
It's a good payday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have the skills and the know-how to do that again or like the people that are willing to pay you half the time, those people
they'll hire
also,
you. Come back.
You got it, brother. You got it. You literally hit the nail on the head. I mean, like
government does it all the time.
Oh shit. Yeah, they would rather pay you twice as much to have you turn coat than fucking have you working against them any day of the week.
Yeah. Your job just becomes to find the exploits and code. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just disappointed that this probably means box mining gets his money back.
I thought about that.
You know, that's the thing. That is true. You know, I argued with somebody on Twitter about this. That was like, hey, man, you shouldn't be hitting people so hard when they're down. And I'm like, actually, that's when you should hit them the hardest.
Yeah,
You know?
I saw your tweet about that. Yeah,
Because, like, I mean, I didn't learn from fucking puppy dogs and rainbows. I learned my lessons from pain, from agony, from not knowing where my fucking next
that's when you learn
dollar
them.
was going to
Yeah,
come
that's
from,
when
how
you
I was going to
actually
pay
learn.
for my family shit. That was how I learned. I didn't unblock a motherfucker until I realized that I was at the bottom. You know, so like sometimes people need to feel that pain, and like giving them an out. You know, I mean,
It's funny how sharp that image. It's funny how sharp that image is in your mind, because a lot of us that have gone through that point, you could probably almost recall to the day, like when you're at your like bottom, you're like, holy shit, like I need to do something to change, like turn this around. Like you remember that shit specifically.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah,
was
I
anybody
do.
really
I was
surprised?
I
Like
was
every
talking about it
single
with-
YouTube. Go ahead.
No. I feel you. I mean, it was just general agreement. Yeah, I was talking about it right before this all happened. You know, about myself. You know, and I mean, I was in Hilton Head with my buddy who believed in me even when I was at the bottom, and I can recall those moments. You know, and if it wasn't for the hardest, painful moments, that was what actually taught me. Everything else along the way was just like, I mean, I could forget about a year and a half of my time. It was like the bottom that helped me learn.
And sometimes those are the most important lessons, or the most valuable and costly, really, because those are the ones that you remember because you actually had something invested in that, and you learn very quickly not to do that again, and you pay even more attention. And I also see it just as an investment in like a course or something. Just chalk it up to be like a learning experience. You paid to learn that, as long as you didn't like get totally wrecked. And you know, just look at it as a lesson. You took a course, you learned something, and you're not going to make that mistake again.
100%, man. 100%.
Yeah.
And one real thing about like why you see so many influencers like always get caught up in this kind of stuff. It's like, it goes back to when you get stuff for free, you don't appreciate it. These guys make tons of money on wrecking their followers through scams, through pump and dumps, through leverage trading. So they get all this money that comes in for free. And when you have tons of money, I mean, some of these guys probably make, you know, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions a month in
I mean,
you know, their
you see
scam
Alex
promotions.
Saunders, they said off of Alex Saunders' paid newsletter, he was making between $190,000 and $400,000 monthly.
Oh god.
Yeah. There's
Off of
there's
a
a lot of
fucking
people.
paid
Yeah.
newsletter.
There's a
so
guy
you're
with a
100%
small
right.
Ethereum
So
newsletter
when-
that has 80,000 a month. So like you just don't value the money, right? So then you do things
not at
where
all.
you know, grab pennies in front of freight trains, as our founder likes to say.
Yeah, you start to make really
Our Lord
crazy
and Savior,
maneuvers.
Richard Hart. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Oh boy.
We really are.
Now you're sounding like a cult.
All right, someone get the candles going.
Yeah.
But at the simplicity of it, like it is the truth, you know. Like, I mean, whether it's finding yield, or whether it's trading, or whether it's gambling, even with a small percentage of your stack, or whatever your game is, all of that shit at the end of the day can be rolled into picking up pennies in front of freight trains. And like, you're really trying to recreate some magic that you know shouldn't be there, you know. And like, and it, if it is there, it's usually there from somebody else's severe pain and loss and suffering.
People, you're
not
chasing the dragon.
Yeah, it's I remember
Puff the
that
Magic
South Park
Dragon?
when they do the video game, the Guitar Hero shit, where they're like the ultimate game, the opposing game was the chasing the dragon game, and they're like, you never actually win.
Never catch the dragon.
The point of that is you never catch the dragon. I mean, you never, you know, and like no matter how many zeros there are at the end of the day, if you're chasing something like that, you're gonna find yourself on a leveraged fucking platform, you know, losing your ass, you know, looking for something that's never was there to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, it sucks at the time for Crypto Gains Club 369, but yeah, got caught up, I guess, in BitConnect. But look at him, you know, look at you now, in HEX, and I would certainly assume enjoying life. So you learn from your mistakes, no matter how costly, and hopefully you're just well on your way now.
Yep.
So that's awesome. Yes, Piston, not your keys. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, think of cats like
okay.
like Trayvon, who's like, how much more hex centric has Trayvon's material become over the past, I don't know, 3 months?
A lot.
Yeah, because like even he you know, he knew it first. He heard Richard say, "Yo, we're gonna try and get cats like you, and stop you doing all this other dumb shit," you know, and like that sounded good and everything. But like now, once it's like a multi-year reality for him, you know, it can't.
The proof's in the pudding
he
now.
knows 100%.
Like I know
100%.
because everyone
So
gave
like
Richard
in 10
shit,
years
shit for
from
that.
now, is he going to be remembered? Is he going to try and make himself like etched in the stone of all of this as somebody
As a
who
scammer,
went
or
down
someone who was
as a
talk
scammer,
about Hex,
or someone who learned and who fucking figured out a better way, you know? And like I mean, I can't guarantee that for every person along the way that's, you know, walked down a bad road and figured it out. But like he's actively trying to be a better, you know, influencer because of what he's figured out. And it's not because of like some sort of higher being or some sort of, you know, magical fucking text or anything like that. It's just the proof is straight in the pudding for him. You know, like it's just like
I remember when when Richard first said that, like about like Trayvon and stuff, like, well, I'd rather have the scammers' attention and funds and their time be preoccupied by something good and promoting something good than what other shit they would shill and get people wrecked. At the time, I thought that was kind of like cheesy, right? I was like, is that really like what's going to take place? And look at it now, a couple of years down the road, like you just said, in the past couple of months, Trayvon's content has become like 70%, 30%, you know, Hex. Whereas in the past, it's just like,
I mean, I was always a fan of that in like a way, but like because it didn't see it playing out the gate, like I didn't like pump it as hard. But I always loved that like narrative that Richard was pushing, because like as a, you know, my minor is in biomedical physics, my grandpa was a doctor, like I love the biology aspect of things and how things evolve as a society and as a, you know, like, so when Richard talks about that, like, hey, we're gonna outcompete these motherfuckers for resources like an amoeba, you know, like doing it better, like that spoke to me, you know, that did. And like he's like, we're gonna do it, like we're gonna turn these people who are like influencing for bad reasons because they're just you know, worried about money, into influencing for the right reasons. And like you said, I love that, and I always wanted to hang on to that, and to see it actually, you know, coming full circle is, you know, that's really
if Hex holding Trayvon's attention and like this much of his energy for the past 2 years isn't a sign of like where Hex is going, like I don't know what is. Like that's pretty impressive.
I think the reality is this, like I think the longer that you are in Hex, the more maximalish you become. And I know it's happened to me.
Even you.
I mean, you guys have seen like, my progression.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. I mean, like the thing is that you can't deny the chart, right? Like the chart is just like constantly proving. And it was funny because I was talking to one of my friends today, and you know, I was telling him, you know, I did some big buys when I told everybody I was going to buy a lot, you know,
slightly intoxicated.
Yeah, I was slightly intoxicated, but you know what? You know what, though? You know what? When I was out,
I'm gonna buy.
I couldn't buy. I was too fucked up to buy, and then the price dipped, and I got an even better buy.
Even better deal.
A lot of money on that. But you know, I was telling him, I said, you know, hey, I'm looking, you know, potentially at like a retest, maybe of like 12, 13 cents, probably maybe like 13, but we could just, you know, keep moving up. And he was saying, and I was telling him how much money I wanted to throw in. He said, you know, you can trade other things other than Hex. And I'm like, yeah, like send him a chart. And I'm like, yeah, but what looks better than this? Like, where are the 95% dips that all coins experience? I mean, like, you know, I know we're going to have another, you know, 85% dip at some point, but I mean, you really cannot deny the chart. And so I think like over time, you know, more and more people come through, you know, and it's been a journey that's going to continue to be, and I think you're going to see a lot more maximalish people as time goes on.
85% dip from here is like our all-time high is not even like 4 or 5 months ago. Like
it's crazy. That's the shit that's Yeah, I mean, and like I can tell you that from like my own perspective in like the real world, talking with people who have been a part of investments I've been doing and interested in what I've like. There are bigger players that are more interested now than they were 6 months ago. I know that for sure. Like I mean, all of what the charts have been showing is not to be denied. You know, you're 100% right, Wendy's. Like I mean, they're just like nobody can lie at that. You see what it is, and if you had done the thing, then you know you would have been more right than everyone else around.
Yeah, and the other thing is
people.
The other thing. Yeah, and the other thing is like if you look at like this bull market, I mean, I follow like a pretty like diverse set of people, like different coins, different communities, even communities I'm not a part of, just to hear what they say sometimes. And I mean, it's been a long time. I think I maybe saw some like Cardano guys flex like a few months ago, like with a McLaren or something. But the HEX flex is real.
Non-stop,
okay, like it's nonstop. It's literally.
Do you see that quilt?
And
you see the quilt, crazy.
Bro? Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, you know just imagine how big these flexes are going to be if HEX. That's
what I'm saying. It's a game.
If HEX hits, say, something like a $7 price target, which somebody I think out there might have.
Is that your segue? Is that your attempt to cut us off? Shut up.
Sooner than later.
What's up, boys?
How many X do we need for $7?
Less than 6, what I know.
Man, we did 3,500 X already, so 40 X or whatever it was, it's really not that far away anymore.
Yeah. Well,
guys. I agree. I was just talking with a gentleman, and he is one of those typical cats that didn't listen to me when I told him, hey, you should buy this thing. And then he didn't do that. And here I am talking to him 6 months later, and should have bought the thing. Instead, he's telling me of all this other garbage, Shiba, whatever the fuck. He's got 17 other cryptocurrencies, and it's not this one. And like, I don't know, he didn't retire. He's not building bigger, cooler things, So like, shit, and like he could have been doing that, and there's a million motherfuckers that are like paying attention to see that. And when I like laid it out for him very specifically, I was like, this is not going to end anytime soon. He did the math, and it would have to be about $7 to $10 for his retirement to be a reality. And I was like, yep, probably very insanely possible, and then probably more. That is not far from where we came a year and a half ago at all. I mean, in fact, it's only like 3.5 doublings, 4 doublings from where we.
And the reality is, like, if somebody would if you would like reintroduce somebody to HEX and it didn't have the game theory functions where you like can't sell, then how many less millionaires would there be in HEX? A lot
less. Just like Bitcoin today.
I
lost my hard drive.
I wish I had the fucking numbers in front of me, because I did that one time out where I like explained to somebody, I was like, by the numbers, because of Bitcoin's appreciation, if all these motherfuckers that had bought early had not sold, there would be, I can't remember, it wasn't that many. It was like where we're at now, like 50,000 million, 100 millionaires or whatever that would have been created if they didn't sell. But
it's a combination
of those
motherfuckers.
45 to 49,000 of those people sold.
It's a combination of two things, right? The time lock feature that enables you to realize those games and like being penalized to go against the code, and then on top of that, earning yield trustlessly. You can sell off the interest without ever touching your principal. I know Wendy's is a big component of this, and most of us on the stream are. You have something that trustlessly earns you yield on your store of value. So between that and the locking mechanism, like everyone has the ability here to realize becoming a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and then maybe someday some of us will be billionaires just because of the mechanism and the token itself.
100%. If you're a part of a big Kurkowski production in any sort or shape, just know that like nothing that I do is from principle. Everything that I do is from fucking interest, and like, so like, not like I could continue this shit forever, like we can all continue this shit forever. because of that shit. Because like the principle,
Right.
like as long as you continue staking and believe in it as more than everyone else does, until the average weighted staked length of the average weighted stake is at 15, at a fucking 55555,
I hope not.
Until we're there. No, until we're there, we got room. Like everybody can push it out further. So like the interest is still possible for everyone to get their hands on. And that's mostly, like I said, that's what all this goofiness is built
for
on.
example, some people came to me and mentioned like, but the staking league looks like a MLM scheme, yeah. But you just need to tell them, but you can get where you want to. You just need to put down the money. So it's not like you need to work yourself up. You can work yourself up as well by staking longer than everybody else, but you can just buy in at the top if you want to, like at the top of the staking.
That's true. I mean, and we'll see that. I believe we'll see that because I've seen some other cats that like
we have like I have seen it in the stake app. You're not changing the ranks, so if I drop a rank, it means that somebody else.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Like
because
you
even
be afraid of dropping in ranks. That means bigger players are willing to spend more.
Even Big K, who said he doesn't touch his principal, right? Just with the mechanism of how T-shares work, like you will eventually get weeded out of your position. Like even staking principal, you're not, and you maximize your time, you're just not going to get the same amount of T-shares. You will leave meat on the bone for future generations to come after you. It's just how the system works.
100%. That's exactly right. That's one of the things. Like every time I don't restake for T-shares, like every bottle of rosé I'm sipping on here is everybody else.
Yep. Naturally, over time, the OGs will stake shorter and shorter and shorter. Maybe to like 2 weekly stakes, maybe monthly, and that just gives new people a chance to increase their stake length and get more. And the crazy thing to think about. You might say like, oh, like 1 T-share is not a lot of money. Okay, well, that may be true right now, but in the future, 5-10 years from now, 1 T-share could be paying
1 T-share's a lot
absolutely.
Now.
Well,
I mean, 1 T-share is still like 1 ETH.
Yeah.
Well,
in 10 years,
I'll say 1 B
in
share.
10 years, we'll go
1 B share.
Well,
it's going to pay so much. It's going to pay so much HEX per B share. And the fact that if we continue on the trajectory we're on, I mean, just look at the HEX versus BTC chart, guys. Look at it. We're clearly the better store of value. And that is why the maxis don't want anything to do with us. They want to pretend like we don't exist. Because we clearly beat Bitcoin at its use case. Okay.
Well, that wasn't Bitcoin's use case. That was the problem. It fell into that use case. We were designed from the start with that use case.
Because its original use case was completely, it wasn't ever filled.
It's currency. It's supposed to be currency.
Cash. Yeah. So Tennis, I don't know if I agree with you that the OGs start staking for shorter and shorter and shorter, because I think the opposite is true. 1 year ago, the staking length was about 4.5 years. Now it's 5.5 or something like this.
5.8.
And some of my money printers are coming out in October, and I'm thinking, man, what am I gonna do? I am staking for longer even to get my T-shirts back. So I think this is gonna be the reality in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough balance in that regard. I mean, in general,
no, it's not a tough balance. It's just the Pareto principle, in my point of view. Like stake 80% long term, keep 20% not that long term. You're done.
Everything that I come out, it's principle that comes out goes back out to 15 years for the sake that like I'm trying to build the next 15-year ladder. So like all my principle goes to that aim. So like, but I can't also understand where you're coming from, Wendy's, in the sense that like some of the early stakes that I made made some goofball decisions out the gate. Like I went in hard in the first couple days when I
think we all did, right?
We all did.
Yeah. And like
perfect.
instead of
shut up.
I get it, Molly. But for all the rest of us plebs over here, I went in hard early, and the only other direction that Richard gave me was, stake as long as you can, as much as you can. So I did, and I staked huge stacks for like now, out 15 years. And some part of me, even though I stake smaller stacks now, whenever my little stakes come up, and I take my principal and stake it for 15 years, I mean, it's not the huge stacks that I had on those early days. So it's I don't know if I would have the same balls that I had early on when it was worth almost nothing to stake as hard and far as I did, as much as I did.
You didn't need to have those big balls because the dollar value back then was let's just do it.
I was already pushed. Like once you had already pushed in your chips, and then like now all I got was a chance for insurance or to double down or something. Like, well, okay, that's all I got. You know, that was once I realized there was a problem with buying in on day one as hard as I did. But like I said, that's neither here nor there. I'm just arguing both sides. Like I agree with Wendy's that I think that like some OGs are staking less because of their stack size now. But I also see, because of the numbers and like what we see clearly in the numbers, is that whether it be OGs or whether it be new people into the system, they're counteracting that because the staking length continues to get longer. So like whoever is staking more for longer, God bless all of them. And like I'm happy to be a part of it.
I would have a question for you guys. Because when I restake, I don't care about how many HEX I'm restaking for.
Those T-shares.
T-shares, yeah. So are you restaking? Are you restaking HEX or are you restaking a certain amount of T-shares?
Well, that's what I was getting into. Is that like if HEX is actually better overall as a system than Bitcoin, then like Bitcoin at a 21 million, let's say 18 million, because that's where we're around now, hard cap, gets to be worth $65,000 per coin. Well, T-shares are maxed out much lower than that today. You know, I mean, there's 11 point something million T-shares today in the system. So in 10 years, assuming nothing drastically changes, there will be only 1.8 million T-shares in the system.
In 10 years, you think so? I think in 10 years, more in 15 like that.
Okay, so between 10 and 15 years, let's say there goes between 3.5 to 1.8, 15 years.
Yeah, I agree on that. I agree on that, yeah. I also think that after 2030, the pool will shrink faster.
Yeah, for sure. It'll get by the 100%. Patrick, you smart motherfucker.
Don't mess with Patrick.
That's all true. No. I mean, he already ran the poker table on all of us.
I must remember.
God damn it!
He lays the traps and then he just lets us walk into them. Anyways,
mostly the next time you stake it. Next time you stake it,
I don't want to talk about it.
That's true though. But by the numbers, I mean, even at best case scenario, 3.5 million.
Cabana, this isn't your show. Shut up.
I'm trying
to move us along. Damn it.
No. I'm trying to give a couple. Chat's like flying by because it's like it's a good problem to have because we have so many so much good stuff in here. I did want to give Bran a shout out here. Going to leave my job next week thanks to HEX. You guys are
very
great.
Cool, Bran.
Nice. How cool is this? And then
congrats.
You know, I'm just going back through the chat.
I'll be honest with
everybody's
you.
just supporting. This is how we do, man.
Still working a job because like that motherfucker is everywhere. If it's Twitter, he's there. If it's Telegram, he's there. If
that means he's not doing much at work. They're like, all right, you can just go. All right.
Doing your boss a favor. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we get it. You're rich now. You can leave.
Bran, my advice to you, Bran, is to buy a calendar because you'll have no idea what day it is. Because I literally was like today, I was like, why is Jason on the stream avatar? Like what?
Your phone has
one
too.
It's Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Confirm.
I just learned about the Apple Calendar last week and how to use it, and the life changes already. So yeah, getting a calendar really good.
Now we are retired and have more work than before, actually.
It's true, man. It's true.
Speaking of more work. Hold on, let me.
Gosh, Cabana, what do you want now?
Well, I'd like to bring up a little something that to introduce what our friends might be up to in the coming months. So yeah, let's. I guess this is sort of this is training. What's going on here, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Salsa lessons.
Yeah, some salsa training, you know.
Yeah.
Yo, salsa. He's getting ready for Puerto Rico.
I still fuck up salsa.
So will we be seeing this at every stop on the HEX tour from late this year to early next year?
Gotta be better now.
I mean, Cabana, if you want to, you can join us and put the camera at
I want to see Cabana with like a GoPro straight on his forehead. get a POV of the salsa action.
Oh man! So yeah, let's shout that out really quick before we get into the PulseChain discussion. So, is the calendar mostly set? How flexible are you guys with that, or is they're set?
The dates are set, yeah.
So we have our tour dates are set, our workshops are set. The only thing that is flexible now is the casual meetups. So if somebody like Belly Brand, for example, would say, "Hey guys, come on, we got get over here," then we can drive over there when we are close. You know.
I'm a big fan of casual meetups. I'm not gonna lie.
Take that as you will.
Yeah, but I know, PK, you're like in different places in the US sometimes.
No. I've already seen your schedule, good sirs, and I plan on making myself interjecting myself in a couple fun places.
As many as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll be in contact.
Hex 19. Hex 19 is like, that looks like my old folks' home.
Hex 19.
Yeah, that was excellent.
And PK, thanks again for the bandana.
Oh yeah, they're so nice.
No, of course.
Can you bring me Pulse ones when we meet again?
We'll have Pulse ones coming up soon. We'll have plenty of more memorabilia and other such swag coming up for sure. That was my fantastic lady Hillary Clinton that really did. She jumped ahead of the curve and really made all that the Hex Lion stickers, those Dick Hart stickers that were incredible. The bandanas, the neon sign. I mean, just above and beyond. So we'll see.
Patrick, do you have your bandana upside down? Are the Hex logos going down and to the right? What are you doing?
It's really hard. It's really hard.
I can't tell. Are they going down and to the right now, or are they right side up? It looks like the red is on the
Stop
downside.
talking about that.
Wow, you're the reason the price was going down. It's your fault. You're wearing it wrong.
Bros, we're good. We're good. We're good. Highs for the day.
Now we're good.
You know, I'm even more happy, not with for my own portfolio, but like 2 weeks ago, I told the German community, maybe you want to build up some stable coins, for after the fork. And like 2 days ago, I said, update on the strategy. It would be better to buy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I want to talk on that actually, because I think the stable coin strategy is retarded going into this. And and Gary talked about this too, and a lot of us have brought it up, but like, if you're trying to do stable coins, I know a lot of people are trying to predict, like, I think OG43.
I can't find the question, but it was a
Day
really
43 brought it up earlier, but some people were trying to speculate on what stables are going to be worth when we go into the PulseChain fork. And Gary brought up a good point. It's like, okay, let's say best case scenario, you double your money. That's the best case scenario. Your USDC is worth the exact same it is on USDC. Cool. You got a nice you get a 2x.
Yeah,
that's it. Now, realistically, what's it going to be worth? Probably a lot less. It's probably going to be maybe at best, maybe 10 to 30% of a dollar at best. I don't even think it might be worth that.
Let's say it's worth exactly double. So you get
Well, I'm getting there. It's only a double, right? It's only a double. That's optimum case now. You buy Hex at anywhere, we've had it from like 11 cents to right now at like 14, 15 cents. Okay, now we continue to we're gonna get this steady climb over the next couple weeks probably. Richard's gonna announce the test net. All right, bet you we start pumping once he announces the test net. All right, cool. So we 4 more weeks. After that, he's actually going to give us a date range. He's already talked about it on stream. So we're probably going to get like, hey, a couple days from now, we're going to initiate the fork. PulseChain's going to go live. What do you think the price of Hex is going to do there? I think we're going to get a minimum of a 2 to 3x pump potentially on the announcement of that date range. So you're looking at a 2 to 3 pump 2 to 3x pump. You're getting your hex bag doubled. So now you're getting hex, and then you have p hex now. Then you had a 2 to 3x on both coins. Then obviously the market's going to just.
Do you have hex on the PulseChain?
You have p hex because it's too no, I disagree, Patrick.
On the
no, it's too wordy. You can't do that, right? You can't say hex.
You can do that.
No, I just
already made the idea.
Okay,
why not hex point PLS, for example?
Because no one says I have Bitcoin on fucking whatever their chain is, or I have ERC, I have Ethereum on the Ethereum chain. No one says that. You say a token name
on this chain, USDC on this chain, USDC on this chain, USDC on this chain.
People like stuff short, sweet, and simple. It's too lengthy if you sit there and like I have hex on.
There's also you're also confusing something. So when you say you have USDC, it's because you're bridging it over. So PUSDC is completely different. Hex and PHEX are two different coins. USDC is USDC. So if you bridge USDC to Polygon, you still have USDC. If you bridge USDC to Pulse, you have USDC. It's very.
I would agree that we call it EHEX and HEX.
Yeah, EHEX is hex.
What? EHEX?
Period.
Yeah. We've already hex is hex.
Yeah, but
and then you
why
now
should
have
all the
PHEX.
coins on the PulseChain have a P prefix?
Because they're PRC20s and they're a new token.
Because they're different coins. That's what I'm saying.
It's a different token.
If you have Chainlink, right, and P-Link, right, if you bridge Chainlink over, then you have Chainlink on Pulse. So it's different. You can't confuse the two. They're two different
new
coins.
Tokens.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, isn't that only like a back end, front end thing? What is in the back end?
It's a big tiny thing too, man. It's like a baller ass like status thing too. Like it's just like
imagine like go.hex.com.
It's like making transactions.
Do you really think
on
that go.hex.com it will be named differently? I don't think so because you only go.hex.com. You need to change the network in your MetaMask, and then you automatically know on which network you are, and it will be Hex or Hex.
What you're saying would hold true if Richard didn't copy the entire system state of Ethereum over to PulseChain. If he like Wendy said, if he had actually decided not to do that, not to create the world's largest airdrop and just do a bridge, and then you just bridged your ERC20s over to the PulseChain, then yes, that would be Hex on the PulseChain, and what you're calling it would apply, but it's not. It's going to be a different
reason.
So why did Richard never ask for a new logo, for a new like something? Never.
Stuff's coming. Just patience. We don't know yet. You just gotta wait.
No.
Here's the thing that I know about crypto. More is better. It's like
yeah, more hex is always better, of course. I agree.
When you go, I remember on CoinMarketCap. I remember a long time ago when we hit 2,000 coins on CoinMarketCap, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit!" There's 2,000 cryptocurrencies, and then before I knew it, like that, there was like 10,000, and I was like, "What in the fuck is this? Is this real life?" And like, there's about to be another 10,000. Like, I mean, more seems to be better. Everybody wants to believe that more isn't better, and that like, oh, it's some magical reckoning point in life or in the universe or everything. Someone's gonna come along and be like, this coin. Well, that hasn't happened yet, and like, I don't think it's ever gonna fucking happen. So like, as far as I can tell, like, the more of these things of all kinds doesn't seem to be a problem. And there's a lot of people in the world, and most people still don't even know about any of this shit, so like, more is better. I'm fine with more. It's going to hit on more narratives, touch more people for more reasons that we don't even fucking know. Even if they're wrong, doesn't matter. I don't care about any of that. What
hasn't been done yet. We're along for the ride. It's gonna be interesting to watch and see how it plays
totally
out.
Along for the ride.
It's cool that Nomics
what I've seen so far is that most situations where there's more, like more value is created. Whenever you see even shitty forks happen,
build it and they will come.
Yeah.
I was going to say more is better when it comes to a certain chain, right?
But guys, think about onboarding in the future. Will you like explain? Yeah, you can buy ETH, and then you buy.
I don't have to. I can
Pulse.
only explain. I don't even have to explain what I care about, dude. Like I don't have to care about this one or that one. In fact, when there's a
way to kill the segue,
cheaper,
guys.
Yeah, I know what you were trying to do, Cabana.
Thanks.
I like this better.
It's all good.
I'm just saying that, like, I don't have to care about all that. Everybody only has to care about what they care about.
You guys can keep going. You guys can keep going.
Cabana always keep trying to talk?
But as a timely tip, because I don't want to like
let Vince get his grunts in. Damn it!
I don't want to lose track of these tips. So Schmoozy says, coming at you with a passion. He's describing what you're doing here with a fury and all that donkey dog bull. Whatever that means, you guys are speaking with passion.
Only Big K
That's
can
all.
understand that right now.
So,
That's actually a new coin we're about to put out. Hashtag
Schmoozy.
Dog Bull.
the donkey dog bull.
Donkey dong bull.
Yeah.
Somebody contact Markable.
But I would have an honest question. If you guys say no, it's PHEX, then please explain me how you onboard in 3 months.
What do you mean?
Okay, the honest
What-
is
I don't-
because
what's-
Hold on.
Like,
Describe.
wait,
Can you?
be descriptive
Yeah,
with your question.
Hex-
What do you mean by that?
Hex versus
Hold on.
He's
Hold on,
saying,
BK.
like,
Let
if you-
BK.
let him ask the
Let him expound.
Yeah, like let's say in 2 months we have PulseChain. In 3 months, somebody new, no coiner, comes to you and says, "I want to invest." How are you explaining?
Okay, so there's two versions of Hex. There's one that is on the Ethereum blockchain. The
And you
Ethereum
lost the
blockchain
loop.
has
Hold on. Let
existed.
him finish.
The Ethereum blockchain has existed for 5 years now. The problem with the Ethereum blockchain is the fees are high. So if you're a small investor, you might want to consider a new blockchain that was created called Pulse. And Pulse, the fees should be probably 99.9% less. So
At least
you'll be
in the
able
start.
to, at least in the start. And then also, like Richard's talking about doing a exchange to where he can, you could potentially, it could be an on-ramp.
On-ramp easier.
And if that's the case, then it'll be extremely easy to buy Hex and PHEX, with his exchange. So
You really think
I
that
think it's-
Richard will put PHEX as a ticker symbol on his?
Well,
Yes.
yes,
the
actually,
thing with that
yeah.
now is that if you want to change the ticker symbol for the only Hex that exists now, you have to get all the exchanges that have already listed Hex on board with that change.
And most of them do.
That's a
So why would they do
logistical
that?
nightmare.
Yeah, why would they?
There's
do
only
that?
one real reason.
They won't
why
even
they
list
would
us
do that.
correctly.
I'll be honest. Why? Because because Paul's like imagine there's really only one reason, and it's fan fiction kind of, but like we like fan fiction here, and we've been a part of it with a 4000X and whatever else. Is it like, what if Pulse is just like crushes the competition, right? And like everybody else is like, yeah, there was cryptocurrency, and then
along came
and
PulseChain.
everything. Yeah. I mean, again,
That would be
I'm
nice.
just trying to say that like under no other circumstances, you're right. Under no other circumstances, you're 100% right. But if Pulse was just the thing, and that you didn't have to put the P because everyone knew the P was the thing because that was the chain that everyone fucking used to get their beers and make their savings accounts, then fine. Paul, then that would be the instance that you're talking about where none of that shit would matter. Now that's very precariously, I'm living in a dream world here, but you asked how, and so that would be how. Other than that, you're right. It is somewhat contentious.
They're two
There
different
is some
tokens. They need
contention.
two different. They're two different
they're
tokens. They need
different.
two
They're
different
completely
ticker symbols. I don't
Narrative.
understand what the
They
confusion
they don't
is.
need two different ticker symbols as much as they need two different, very distinct narratives. So, me personally, now I'm going to take a step back from what my dream world was right there for a second. And in reality, there's two different ticker symbols and they offer different advantages. And you can show that through many different operations. And I believe that'll become more apparent in the future based on what that 17% by whether it be Origin Address or whether it be Benevolent Whales did with their Hex. You'll be able to see how this all shakes up. No, don't quote me for any of this shit. But
because we don't
based
know
on
right now.
percentage
We don't
of
know. We're
return-
just speculating.
No, we don't. But in a speculative
And-
world, I imagine that one chain versus the other would have a higher speculative APY for new people to come in versus the other one. And that figure was already worked out and thought of way before the amount of sacrifice was ever even put in. So like, relax, y'all.
The fact that we don't know, and there is different varying opinions on stream right now, that gives you more reason to buy HEX right now when you get both regardless, right? There you go. It's easy. That's why this is probably one of the best times you're going to be able to buy.
That's the best decision. I mean, if you look 3 years later in 2018, when you could have had Bitcoin or you could have had Bitcoin Cash, the best decision after all these years, just like I said, usually when these things fork, is to have both. 100%. Thank you, Wendy's. 100%. If you don't actually know what to do, then doing nothing typically is better than actually making a decision that shoots off your own toes. You know, like
back at that time, I was still a noob. I was still not.
I mean, me too, man. But like, I
researching it. You know what I did? Because there was so much FUD around this this fork. I got FUDed out, and I said, okay, let's do nothing. You know, when I bought at the top at the 1st of September after the fork.
I understand all that. I mean, dude, I was on the other case. I was like dumping the good thing for the bad thing, bro. Like, I was like, hey, let me shoot myself for the book. I was like, I have an idea. I'm gonna fuck myself real hard.
And he was wrong.
That's basically what. Yeah, I was insanely wrong. You know, and like I could only like look back in hindsight, and like there were some people, and like even Richard was saying at the time, like he was like, hey, you could do this and make more of this thing, but like if you're gonna do nothing, that's probably better, you know, like because that was a safer move overall.
You just can't lose. You can't lose that way.
Well, I mean, for example, in this because of the zealotous nature of these communities, when one forks off from the other in any way, shape, or form, like they're like, whether it be the fact that they want to create more value for themselves or not, or whatever it is about the nature of communities, like a $10 coin forks, and instead of like 7 and 3, you end up with 7.5 and 4. There's always more value there. I mean, if you see, like I said, the Bitcoin Cash is a perfect example, and then onward through diamond and gold and all these other stupid shit. If you just held on to all that shit, you'd have thousands more dollars in your pocket than if you would have done something with them at the moment, because like all those interesting, unique communities wanted to, like, you know, push out their chest and make themselves known, you know, and they created value in all of that. Even if it was useless, stupid, retarded, didn't actually have use case and anything else value, they still did that, you know. So I mean, Richards like realizes that and is like making sure that everyone that wants to play ball plays ball. And if you don't pick up a ball, then you fucking forfeit your ball, you know, and that's what he's doing. But like before he realized that part of it, everybody got to play and everyone got more value because of it. So like that, like to believe that that's not going to be the thing again is to like buck what has happened for 8 years now, you know? So, I mean, I just think that like the like both sides have use case, and it depends a lot on the narrative that you spin to each of them. You know,
history has a tendency to rhyme.
They do, and so like and like we have somewhat of a unique controlling factor in that, and that like we're building the narratives right now. I do think that and we'll see what sort of points and counterpoints we'll have to work with along the way, because like I think the staking APY will change dramatically, and I think
why dramatically?
Yeah. Well, why dramatically? Because I think that certain pieces of certain parts will have more of an incentive to stake to force people in one direction or another.
Yes, but if you increase the staking pool by 10%, you're decreasing the overall staking rewards like by 1%.
That's not exactly
it's not exactly the number, but it's not much.
Okay, but that scales up pretty hard, because like I mean, if everybody in HEX is staking for average length,
welcome Yash.
Thanks,
guys.
Just in time.
If everybody's staking across the board for average length, then like instead of 40% APY, 5-year stakes would eventually get 3.69 APY, you know,
Yeah,
that's a huge difference.
That's a speculation. What will never be happen, because now you're assuming that each and every free hex will get staked like on the big payday again, which I disagree on.
I agree 100%, but you don't think that 20% like either way, or maybe 17%?
No, because there is a counterparty to that, and these are like all the bleeding stakes, and all the bleeding stakes. A lot of them are not worth to good account right now. As soon as the PulseChain is out, somebody can go in, good account, each and every one. Just spend maybe 100 pulls on it in total, and then you have already more
Hex Lions, sir. I am going to respectfully back off right now, but this conversation is not over, sir.
To be continued.
I want to answer somebody.
My wife is flipping and flopping over here, and we've got some dinner plans, and I have to remove myself from this conversation from all of you. But I want to dig deeper into this, sir. Let's make a date.
Yes, of course. You know, Big K.
Until they should go on a date with your wife
in the next month. I'm looking forward to meet you again in person, man.
Oh, dude,
it's always
we'll
great talking to you.
We'll do it on stream beforehand. We'll
do another happy hour with getting into this. But yeah.
Yes.
We need
this talk a lot. I like this talk. Let's shelve it for the audience's sake. It gets a little nitty gritty from here on out.
I don't care too much about EHEX, PHEX, or whatever. All I know is that we are creating the future. If we're gonna call it this way, people will play the same, you know.
I like what you got to say with it. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Later, Big K.
A lot of fun. I'll talk to y'all soon.
See you. What were you gonna say, Wendy's? What were you gonna?
Oh, I was gonna say that somebody was.
As we get a tip for a sandwich,
and they were.
Oh, sorry. Thanks for the tip, Alan.
Somebody was asking about which ERC20s to speculate on, and I'm gonna give.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you my opinion on the. So the way
let's do it. We're gonna bookmark this as the beginning of the Pulse discussion. So here we go.
Oh, now we're just starting.
Yeah, okay. It's like an hour and 15 minutes.
All right, guys, it's official. Cabana's bookmarked it. Now we're talking about Pulse.
There we go. Let's clip it. Wendy's, go.
All right, so I did I was really thinking a lot, and at first I think I was actually like upset when I heard about PulseChain that it was like going to be like an empty system state, because I thought that as you hear the contention over PHEX, EHEX, like all that stuff, it's going to cause potentially some drama, maybe split buying pressure, and I was trying to figure out why he would do that, and then I really started thinking, and I started thinking that, well, the contract is really complicated, right? And when you move coins to an empty system state, so for example, if you were to bridge your hex to Polygon, you still have hex, right? But you can't stake it because there's no contract there. And making that contract, which is basically computing key shares and compounding interest, is already complicated. Making it talk across chain is likely impossible. So to me, that is the reason why he's doing the big airdrop, and it's so that's the reason why he's copying the whole system state, because he wanted to copy the hex blockchain, or the hex contract, essentially, so that you could have staking on Pulse for cheap. Now the rest of it to me is mostly like a marketing thing. So when you ask from a risk reward ratio, which ERC20 is going to be like potentially worth a lot on Pulse, it's a lot of speculation, and I
Hex is
personally
a good guess.
believe, and I put my money where my mouth is. I'm buying shit tons of Hex, and I will continue. So leading up into the fork, and to me that is the safest play. And you might think, oh, Hex is pumped a lot, man. People, you haven't seen anything yet. Like it's going to shock a lot of people. It already has. I mean, if you look at like our chart versus even like Chainlink, and people say, oh, Chainlink has pumped a lot. Like we make Chainlink look like they belong in preschool with what they're doing compared to what we've done. So I truly believe that your best bet is to there's going to be a couple probably that work on Pulse, but picking the right one and then potentially getting a good return, you're much better off probably just buying and taking Hex, truthfully.
And that sounds silly to say, doesn't it? Like HEX is the safest one. Like a little, we know what we're talking about, like when we say that, but it's like, oh, well, other people will be like, why wouldn't you just, do USDC? Newbie OG here brings up a point that we were talking about earlier. USDC is my ERC20 of choice. I think it will trade at $1 once everything settles out. Okay.
I can tell you.
But even if it does,
I have millions of them. So if you're the one buying them at like 50 cents, I'm going to dump on you.
He's going to sell them to you.
So
enjoy.
I mean, actually, I just want to buy more Pulse and HEX on the PulseChain with my forked stables.
Sure, there's going to be nice arbitrage moves to do between Pulse, HEX, and PHEX, or whatever Patrick wants to call it.
HEX on the Pulse.
Sure, HEX on the PulseChain. Everyone, go buy HEX on the PulseChain.
I hope you guys do pump my stables, but
I
don't recommend it.
It's not the optimal strategy.
I genuinely believe. I'm telling you what I believe is best for you. But if you want to do that, I have a portion of my portfolio, and it's a lot, that is stables, because that's what I live off of. I don't like selling my HEX. So unlike some other people we know, I'm not going to call out any names, but
he's not here anymore.
No, we have someone else in mind, but
yeah.
Shout out Big K. Just kidding.
If you want to pump it, I mean, I'll dump it. You pump it, I dump it.
You pump it, I dump it.
We have some more questions in here related to Pulse, because that's what we're into now. We don't do really many other coins, but just because Smoozy, tip nicely, Donkey Dog Bull to 10,000x. So there you go. Whenever that coin launches,
that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't.
DDB.
But anyway,
another dog coin. Yay!
So
add it to the pound.
We've gotten a couple.
Do they have a dog paper instead of a white paper?
Oh yeah, and just going back through Crypto J.
Powers on it.
Where can I find Hex merch and Pulse Church?
Shirts?
There's your answer, hexmerch.com.
Hexmerch.com.
And this question has come up a couple times just in the past couple of chats. Do you guys have a strategy for PHEX at launch? This is popular across about every Hex stream that I watch.
I do, but I'm also going to talk about it on stream.
Okay. It's like
buy and stake.
Don't sell.
So here's one. And I'll ask this differently, so you don't have to give away your strategies, because this came up. It was I actually really enjoyed the Jenkins and Blue Bum stream last night on Discord Syndicate. That was a nice little chat there. Mm-hmm. And this question came up. It was someone asked, "What do you think will happen with Pulse? At launch, do you believe that it will go below what those sacrificed for, and people will be able?"
Depends if it has a value to even start with, right? Like there's so many unknowns because you don't even know if the bridge is in place and there's actually a USD value.
This is what I think. This is how I see what's going to happen. Okay, there's going to be he's already said that there's going to be a bridge in place. So just taking what he says at face value. Now the thing that people don't get is when you have the system state, right, and nothing has an actual value. As soon as trading goes live, the trading pair that you're going to see the most action on is going to be probably PLS and PHEX. Right. Yep. So that is going to one is going to dump versus the other in Moon, but there's not going to be a USD value at that point. So what'll cause the first price oracle will be when somebody bridges over something like Ethereum or something else that has a price and then buys something, which will create a pair. And that buying of something for value, it's kind of like when essentially when Bitcoin did the pizza transaction, when HEX did the pizza transaction, it's like, oh, it's real, it's worth something, it's trading for something.
And what I would caution on that too, like Wendy said, like the biggest trading pair is probably going to be Pulse and PHEX initially, and I think you got to think, right, like everyone's going to have these brand new shiny bags they just got offloaded that we've been waiting for. It's kind of like the first day of launch on HEX. Like there's a bunch of pent up demand, just like there's going to be a bunch of pent up demand when you finally get your big Pulse bags and you're ready to go spending, right? You're like, all right, what can I get? What's pumping? So a lot of people are going to go to PHEX, and you have to be careful, especially if there's not a value associated yet USD wise. You might end up giving a lot more of your Pulse than what you should for PHEX. Not to mention the slippage might be very high at the time. There's a lot of things to be very cautious of initially. trying to be that first one, trying to run and buy your bags first. There's a lot of pitfalls that new users aren't aware of when it comes to just slippage. And if there's no USD value yet, how much pulse are you actually giving up for that PHEX? Like, just be careful on the initial. Like, my advice is, most of us have already gotten our bags at this point. Just sit back and watch what the market does for a day or two or hours. Just wait. Like, it's not gonna kill you. Just see what how the market reacts.
I've said it before.
I will film you, Cabana, when I
buy HEX now, and you get both. You'll if you want to speculate on PHEX, buy HEX now. It's
exactly.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Free PHEX.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we could keep telling people that. That is the move to do.
But we keep getting asked the same question, and it's like I think the move. Well, I think that's the move. So
the thing. Most OG Hexicans know that, Cabana. I think what it is just like with the growth we've seen in the PulseChain chat and Telegram, there's just a lot of new people here, right? There's a lot of people that don't understand what HEX is probably going to do over the next couple of days. They're not as familiar with HEX as we are. They don't understand the connection between the two. So you just kind of have to reiterate it. You have to keep re-educating and sending it out there. It's like Richard brought it up on one of the streams the other day. Like, someone was getting butthurt. It's like, bro, someone was telling Richard, like, you go over the same information, which is true. He does. And the guy's like, yo, can you move on to something else? He's like, no, I'm not going to fucking give you a more condensed version of like new information when there's new people here that are trying to learn that don't know yet and don't have the gift that you have, where you've already been accumulating this knowledge for the past couple of years. So yes, you have to sit there, re-educate, tell people, hey, this is probably with like 80-90% chance the best play to do right now. Like, this is what you should be doing. It was just like when we were waiting for the sacrifice phase, like, hey guys, you might want to buy HEX here at 1.8 cents, 2 cents, 2.5 cents. Like, buy HEX. I think we're going to have a run up. And then next thing you know, we're sitting here cruising at 15 cents. So it's going to be the same play now. Buy HEX, everyone. HEX is going to be sitting here at 25, 30 cents. And you're like, fuck, I wish I bought HEX at 15 cents, 12 cents. 13 cents, you name it, and you're going to be kicking yourself. It's going to be the same situation that plays out again.
I'm sure that even now a lot of people are out there waiting for the dip under 10 cents.
Oh God, I don't think if that happens, it happens for like a split second just from a freak seller, but there's enough limit orders in place where that instantly gets bought up.
Yeah.
But I think
mine is one of them.
I think a lot of people really want to speculate, and I don't think that. I think that picking one or the other is a winner. So a lot of people have said that they think that they're going to dump their HEX for PHEX. I think it's really, really dangerous, and I'm just going to tell you
why.
I think people think that that Pulse. I've heard people say that Pulse can just be the settlement layer for PHEX. And that's absolutely
not true.
That's so
untrue. It's completely untrue. Like, you have to understand the costs associated with running validators and stuff. The network is going to have to get a lot of adoption. So when you are selling your HEX for PHEX, you're basically betting that PHEX is going to be, or that Pulse is going to be super successful, and that Ethereum's HEX is not. You don't know what the whales are going to do. You have no idea what the whales are going to do, and at the end of the day, the whales move the market. Okay, one buy from somebody that's a large player can equal 100,000 buys of clubs. So when you're speculating like that, to me, you're doing something like worse than trading. You're literally like playing with your gains. And
but what do you think? So you think that both HEX on ETH and on the PulseChain will have like kind of the same value? Is that what is your point?
That's not what he said. That's not what he's saying at all.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying this.
Yeah, do you
know that Matic? Do you know that EOS will be here in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? I don't think so. Do you think Matic will be? BSC? We don't know. But I do believe that Ethereum will still be here. The fees might be crazy. The fees might absolutely be crazy. But the chain will be here, and HEX will still exist. We don't know. And when you look at the community, and when they attack people that are talking about building on Pulse, it's a little scary for the adoption of PulseChain. So I've invested a lot of money, and if you look at the people who've invested the most money, like Overwatch Partners, what is he doing? He's funding grants to build on Pulse. Okay, so we need adoption.
Might need to follow suit.
We need people to buy shitcoins on Pulse for PHEX to survive. So when you're betting against EHEX, you're making a huge bet. And why would you do that when you have coins for free anyway, right? Just keep your principal, sell your interest and stake it out. And if you don't have a lot of money, stake it out further. And the other thing is, like, people are worried about the price of Ethereum. When the bear market happens, Ethereum's going to get nuked with everything else. Buy a bag of Ethereum, stake it, and you will have gas forever on Ethereum.
Well, I personally love to have free speech, and on Ethereum you don't have that, so I'm gonna go to PulseChain. And the great thing about HEX is that I have a staking ladder, right? So whatever I have right now is just a little fraction of what my staking ladder is. So if I take that and put it on PulseChain, then my risk, I think, is really, really small, because all my other staking ladders are just staked on Ethereum anyway. So
what do you mean you don't have freedom of speech on the Ethereum chain?
Oh, if you are censored because you have to pay $500 on gas fees, then you cannot transact. You cannot have speech on Ethereum when you have those high fees.
No, that's crazy, man.
That would be inefficient, but that's not.
So I tell you about my story. I stopped smoking cigarettes, and then I put $10 into HEX every single day from day one to whatever. I couldn't do that today. So I, as a little fish, would be censored. I would not be able to get into HEX, and therefore I wouldn't be rich today.
I'm gonna make a perfect example for you, because I use a lot of blockchains. Okay, have you used Matic lately? There's times where you literally cannot even load into your wallet. There's never been a time, and I mean, I'm a whale. There's never been a time that I haven't been able to do an Ethereum transaction within like 20-30 seconds. Okay. Yes. Sometimes I may have spent $1,000, $1,500 to transact, but nothing prevents me from doing that. These networks can get overrun. You realize how many people are using Ethereum? You think that if Pulse doesn't see 1,000x people coming onto it, that it's not going to have issues? You're delusional if you think that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm rich today as well, so I can handle those $500 fees right now. But you're gonna tell my friends who will put in $100 to now they have to pay like $50 in fees?
No, what I'm saying is to be smart. And what I just gave you a strategy, right? I said when the bear market happens and Ethereum drops 90%, then buy some Ethereum and stake it, and you just use the interest to use for gas, and you'll have no problems.
Yeah, I rather buy the dips.
The reality is, though, the people buy when we are on the top. It's always like this. The people don't like to buy really cheap. They like to buy high.
Well, hopefully they're listening right now.
Those people get wrecked, and that's why I'm telling them.
Hopefully they're listening right now.
Advice, yeah.
And may I also make a counter argument? Because, only because Richard is saying it, that he wants to see HEX expensive on both chains, doesn't mean that the market will decide the same. We all agree here, because we are OGs, that it's not Richard who is making the whole HEX market. And so there was never discussed the possibility that HEX on the East chain will just plummet in price and nobody will care in 1 year about the HEX on the East chain. Like with the East fork.
That is absolutely possible. But let me ask you this.
All scenarios
are there more whales? Are there more whales on ETH or on Pulse?
Yeah, and then we have like some Russian thin guy who likes to increase the S load.
Talking about Vitalik.
Fair point.
So I will never do that.
Obviously, that was terrible.
On the East chain again. I will never do that again.
Well,
you're talking about selling your EHEX, you are speculating. You are basically being a trader.
You're
at that
a trader.
Point. And what I'm saying is you don't know, because I could do a multi-million-dollar buy and pump the price right after you pump it. So you might think you're smart by doing that, and then I pump the price. I'm just saying.
And so another good point,
and that's why I'm telling you, like, we're telling other people like how we're going to play it, and I don't want to see people get wrecked, and I just don't think the risk-reward ratio makes sense to do that.
I was talking to Overwatch after the sack phase, and we were having a conversation. I won't go into the specifics on numbers and stuff, but they had actually anticipated, even though like most of us think PulseChain, the SAC phase was a success, me included. I think we raised an insane amount of money. Overwatch was kind of surprised that he didn't have to put in more money. If you guys don't know, he was the #1 wallet. Him and his partners were surprised they actually didn't have to put in more money to retain that #1 spot. They were actually they were willing to bring a lot more money to the table, and it wasn't necessary, right? So there might have been some big players that didn't come to the table that they were keeping their eyes on, and maybe that's because, like Wendy's is saying, maybe they're just like Abit was talking as well, just freedom of speech. Maybe they're making their political statement and their speech just by the fact that, hey, I'm going to stick with Ethereum, I'm going to stick with my hex bag on Ethereum, and I'm not going to participate in Pulse. And I guarantee you there were some whales that probably actually took that position during this.
Actually, yes, you make a very good point, because I specifically looked up the 6660 Genesis God Whale.
Did not sacrifice.
And he specifically did not sacrifice.
Yep.
So that implies that he made his own political statement saying that
unless he has a different wallet, we don't know. We don't know. He could have other wallets, but at the same time, yes.
But why wouldn't he let everybody know that he's supporting that chain?
Exactly.
Right, exactly. So that might have been his freedom of speech, his political statement that he made to say, hey, I'm going to support Hex on the Ethereum chain, and that's our biggest player in the ecosystem. So there you go.
Yeah,
it goes both ways.
And he still has like what, 1 billion Hex staked out for what, 15 years? So
some crazy 300,000 T shares,
something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I just support Richard's projects, you know. And if
I do too. I put a
new blockchain called PulseChain, I will support that. And I would really like to ghost this fucking East chain, yeah, because I feel scammed like since 1.5 years, since August last year.
But if you can still make money on it,
Patrick.
why would you just ghost it? Like, the code is still there, and even, I mean, even the small guys, if small guys get priced out, big guys can still make money off of it. And
I think Wendy's made the greatest
yeah,
point.
but they can also make big money on Hex on the PulseChain or on Pulse, no?
The biggest thing, Patrick, right, is everyone can agree the probably optimal strategy right now is to buy Hex, right, before the port. Okay, so Wendy's brought this point up, is like if you're going all in afterwards on P Hex or Hex on the Pulse chain, like you are speculating when you can get both Hex now and you don't have to speculate, and there's no need to FUD your other bags. Like you are speculating one will win over the other when we don't know yet. We don't know what the market's going to decide. We don't know what the big players like the Genesis whale are going to decide. To me, it's just unnecessary risk at this point to just go all in and say, hey, I think this is going to win. There's no doubt in my mind when we haven't even launched the chain yet. It's just, to me, that's risky.
Yeah, but what you are saying right now is that in the future we should make
we don't know what the future holds, though,
onboarding,
right?
Because would you like to risk it in the future? To decide,
Patrick, we don't know what the future holds. Just like Wendy's was talking about earlier, Matic is actually filled up a lot. Like Matic used to be able to do thousands of transactions, and it was quick, easy, thousands of transactions for one Matic. If you go on now, you can't do that, right? You can't do that. So even for PulseChain, the PulseChain system state can change. Ethereum could get their shit together, and Ethereum 2.0 can change. Shit changes. What's relevant and current today does not pertain to the future, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years out. Ethereum gets their shit together, and they retain their crown as the best chain. Like, is that what I want to see? No, I'd rather see literally Hex and everything Richard builds with PulseChain and our own ecosystem and everything vertically integrated. I want to see that to win. But yeah, at the end of the day, with how the blockchain and how these digital letters work, they're inefficient. So you're honestly, you need a multi-chain verse to essentially survive in crypto because there's just too much traffic. It's too inefficient. You need multi-chain. So it's gonna happen inevitably. We just don't know what the future holds.
The other thing is that we need people to speculate on the chain, right? Like the thing is that it's not an inflationary supply. It's a deflationary supply that they're making transaction fees off. So if people aren't look, how much do does Hexagons pay to ETH miners a month? Do you remember this number?
I think it was,
you guys remember the number? Richard's talked about it. 15,000.
15K.
50,000. Yeah. Okay. So
wasn't
and it's approximately no. There's only approximately 300 transactions a day sometimes in Hex. Can't 15,000. That's crazy. And this is
not a transaction heavy to begin with.
But so Pulse is going to be like 1,000 probably the transaction fees, right? And so these are going to pay for 33 validators. Do you know what the price of a validator is to run a validator? It's a lot of money, man. A lot of money. So we need a lot of people building on Pulse, speculating on Pulse projects for PHEX to survive in the long run. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying when you're risking something before it's even built, before anybody's even speculated, and the projects that I've heard that have like announced anything on Pulse have been like basically like shunned out of the community, you know. And I didn't even agree. Like people asked, would you buy that? And I said, you know, based on what I see, no. But like these people were like almost completely shunned out of the community, and everybody's on like scam, like high scam.
Damn, Cabana, how dare you pull him off screen like that?
I did not.
How dare you silence his freedom of speech? Son of a bitch.
I blame Yash Deep.
That's me.
Because now I wanted to ask if you can like explain me a bit like what is the cost of a validator. I really have no idea in regards to that. So
yeah, I'm not familiar either. I know a couple people have looked into it as far as like BSC goes and everything, and evidently it's very significant. And even BSC, like they're still not seeing returns, and I mean they've gotten a fair adoption at this point as well. So it takes a lot, and that's why like when people are saying that when they say PulseChain is just it's good enough just to be a settlement layer for HEX, it's not. It's really not.
But what do you need like as a validator? Because I have never looked into that. Like what hardware or servers or like
you're essentially gonna have to go to someone like, so you want redundancy because you'll actually get people slashed, like people will lose their pulse, the validator, and people that delegate their pulse to them if it goes down, right? So like you want high end, top of the line stuff, which means it's probably going to go through AWS. So you can go and look up and see how much it costs for server space through AWS. It's very expensive. I don't know how much is actually required.
How can I use my pools as a user if I just delegate and still have the key to those pools?
What do you mean? How can you delegate and still have your keys?
Yeah, I mean, no, I have
like
still
get
my
slashed?
key. Yeah, how can I get slashed?
I don't know how that works, but Richard and I think Dev Kyle and a couple of people more knowledgeable on the code and everything have said that numerous times. The validator and the people that delegate their pulse will get slashed if it goes down. And again, that just shows you have to be cautious.
What does slashed mean? Like no more earnings,
you lose some of your pulse because I think they have to. Is it essentially like a fork or something? Because like you improperly, the transactions weren't properly recorded like moving forward. So like you end up losing. You can lose a certain portion of your coins, the delegator and the validator.
I still don't understand why. Like the validator, I understand. No, like also I don't understand why, because slashed can also mean they just don't get any rewards
or less.
Yeah.
No, not less. Because
I'm not knowledgeable enough to talk on it. That's like
so
a
we
good
need
question
a big
for
K back here almost.
Dev Kyle or Richard or something. Well, even someone more knowledgeable than him to speak on that. But both Richard and Dev Kyle made comments on that delegators could lose their coins as well. So I don't know how that works.
Just catching up chat here. Any thoughts on this? What does someone that could only sacrifice 2K do? Hold on to Pulse for dear life and stake, asking for a friend. I mean, why not? I mean, if you're staking, you're kind of safe, and I'd trust that you have HEX, right? So it's like, I personally, I mean, if this is just me assuming that you have HEX already, be happy with your Pulse bag and see what that does for you.
We talked about it earlier on stream. Is HEX is beautiful because it actually enables people to realize those amazing gains, because essentially it forces their hands to hold right between the actual locking mechanism. Between that and actually being able to earn yield on that, those two factors enable you to see those potential 6 million X that Bitcoin did, whereas most Bitcoiners sold at the first 100X or the next 100X or the next 100X. So it really just comes down to being a holder, or like Richard said, being a founder. Those are the two ways to really get rich in crypto. So
sure, but back to Pulse. How as a user, what can I do in order to be safe with my choosing of a validator? What might I be able to see or to research that
Richard,
I can?
Richard posted some screenshots early on. before the sacrifice phase even started, where validators have they have like underneath them he labeled them as felonies and misdemeanors, and essentially that was that was them having bad transactions or whatever it was. They had a strike against them, and it had like a tally of how many felonies they committed or misdemeanors. It's just like a funny way to just hey, this validator fucked up. I would be a little cautious to delegate your coins to this validator. It might end up costing you money, essentially. Now, will that hold true once PulseChain actually launches and Richard still holds those mechanisms in place? I don't know, but you're able to see that.
Okay, so you think that we will just have a web page where we see like, okay, those are validators and those are their reputation, or
you will see a statistic, right? If somebody is going out of energy all the time, then you see, oh, he's not as good as the other validator.
Yeah, but I don't see it like from the get-go, you know.
Not from. You need the market to like give it some time, so you see how each validator is working, I guess.
And I think I think
6 weeks, or
I think validators will also be given the option to essentially control how much of the fees they're willing to give to people that are delegating their pulse to them as well. So that's another benefit. Like, hey, this guy doesn't have the best uptime, so it's a little risky, but he gives me a higher percent fee than this validator does, though.
So we might end up like splitting up our pools and validate to 5 to 10 different validators.
I mean, that would be a choice on you, but
I suppose you could.
Could split it up.
I think the interest rates are going to be
because
way lower than what
you
people are
lose
saying.
something, you know, because there is no bigger pays better.
60%.
Yeah.
So if there is no bigger pays better, it's not a bad diversification, I would guess.
Bigger pays better in what? In HEX or
no on the pools? Like in pools, there is no bigger pays better, so you can diversify your pools to different validators. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if let's say Richard still holds on to that like felony and misdemeanor charge, like I'm definitely not going to delegate my pulse to somebody who has 10 felonies and 20 misdemeanors. Like I'm not giving them any of my pulse. Like I'm definitely still going to be looking for like the clean slates, the guys that don't have any infractions.
So
but like how to find that out in the first week?
I don't know. It's not built yet, Patrick. I don't know. We gotta wait for Richard to release it.
Because I agree on
you can get slashed,
your statement.
how much
You know,
are you
the
going to be
time
willing to like put up?
Go ahead.
What was that, Wendy?
Sorry, Wendy.
I heard you.
I was saying like for if there's a chance that you can get slashed for like delegating, what is the interest rate that you would feel comfortable like delegating to somebody for? Because like we've had talks like off camera and stuff about this. Like some people in the Pulse chat room were like speculating 60% APY, whereas like if there's not that many projects to start, like and there's no inflation, so all of the interest is going to come from transactions. I think it's going to be very low.
It's going to be very low
to start. It's got to be low. So what I'm saying is like you're potentially risking getting slashed for like a very low APY to start. But maybe eventually as like time goes on and a lot of transactions are coming in, the APY kicks up and then, you know, it makes it, it's like Richard says, you know, grabbing pennies in front of freight trains, right? We don't have any information on the validators as of right now, and this is going to be live in a couple months. So we don't know about their history. We don't know like what their hardware is. Like there's a lot of questions that need to be
free
answered.
for all.
I'm probably gonna wait a little bit.
Hold back.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna wait a little bit.
And that's another reason why it's so important for people to come and build on PulseChain, because we need those fees to ramp up. We need transactions to ramp up. HEX by nature just isn't a very transaction heavy token. So like we need people to come and build. We need to, as a community, just get better with our communication skills and stop being so hostile to new people come over. Let them build their shit, just like we have freedom of speech on chain. Like you have freedom of speech with where you send your money. You don't have to go speculate on all these other projects coming to build on. We already know a very good trifecta of coins right now, which is going to be HEX and PHEX and Pulse. Like you could just stay within there, but let people come and build freely. And then if there's an obvious scam or there is something very malicious that is actually hurting people, and you can actually prove that with verifiable facts and just not the fact that it's something other than HEX and you want to go fucking attack it, then yeah, by all means call it out. But otherwise, let people build freely, because PulseChain is a network. It's not just a it's not a certificate of deposit. It's just not a complete token. Like, you need the network effect for it to be successful. You need people to come over here and build. You need the new talented developers. You need people that are actually willing to maybe build some amazing projects that we haven't seen before, because crypto just fucking sucks. So hopefully we can draw that kind of talent and quality.
Yeah, if you look at like Polygon and BSC, they're expensive because a lot of people built on those. If you look at Tron and EOS, like, you know, Tron's up like what 100x like since 2017. Come on. So we want people to build, we want people to use it, and that's what's gonna pump our bags. And I like it when people pump my bags.
I love it when people pump my bags. Oh,
and
my
that's
God,
kind of like what we were hoping to talk about on this show, and perhaps we're finally getting to it now.
Maybe the next one.
Yeah. So I want to give a formal welcome to Yashdeep. What's up, Yash?
What's up, guys?
Been very patient there.
After
but,
an hour.
Yeah, you've been very patient there, but I know you have. And shout out to Cash Plus too. We appreciate you. So thank you very much. Yash, I know you have some opinions on Pulse. We were just chatted briefly in Telegram, but I'll just open the floor to you. Pretty much, I guess the point of the stream was obviously, grant development, building things on Pulse, how open we should be to it. I think we should, welcome anyone with open arms, because this is a completely different game than Hex. But, any of those topics, feel free to roam for a few minutes, man, and tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, so I agree, heavily with everything Motley and Wendy's have said about we need adoption and we need people to build. So what I want to speak on is what goes into building. Now, I'm not a software engineer, but by my profession, I'm a mechanical engineer. I've worked in product development for medical devices. And so there's a lot of similarities in development. It's, their software and mechanical builds there's a lot of crossover. And something that we need to try to understand as a community and try to grow is how are projects developed? Because, there's some people that they don't even want to have a conversation if it's not basically exactly like Hex, and I don't think that's
sounds like maximalism to me.
Yeah, and some of the OGs are kind of on that kick right now, and I think we need to try to open up their minds to what goes into development. And so I'm going to try to speak on a little bit of software development and a little bit on developing physical products, because there's trade-offs, and when you have something you're trying to develop, there's features that you have, and those features cost money. They cost time, they cost resources. And so if you have a feature that's very complicated, it's going to cost human resources to be able to develop that feature. Somebody has to be smart enough. The engineer has to know how to create that feature, and the better engineer is going to cost more money. And so you have to make decisions as somebody that's investing in a project or funding a company. How do you evaluate which features are more important to you? What is the most minimal viable product you need to get out, and what is it going to cost you to get there? You have to assess your time that it takes. If it takes too long to get to market, you might be missing your opportunities there. You have to evaluate just how much money you're willing to put into this, right? Like we talked about before, we have grants being offered by Overwatch, and that's amazing, right? We need that kind of development because somebody might not have the resources to do that, but you have somebody like Overwatch that has a lot of invested in Pulse and wants it
the most invested in Pulse.
Yeah, the most invested, and we're all here.
His bags.
Pump his bags, pump your bags.
Exactly. So, and we're all here because we're all invested in Pulse, and so to do that, you have to have the capital to do it, and but there's limitations. Everything has its limitations, and so, for example, when Hex launched, there was a DCA contract that was created by Dev Kyle, and it went really well. Vince was a participant in that, and he could speak to it. But as far as I know, there wasn't an audit on that contract, right? People decided that
trusted Kyle.
Yeah, and the community does trust Kyle. He's a very valuable member. He's very smart. He had a great conversation with Eric Wall. But you need, so the point is he made that contract. People had faith in him. They trusted him. They used it. It worked really well, but there was no audit. So anytime somebody develops Impulse in the future, you can't just start screaming scam, scam, scam if there's no audit. Well, audits cost money. It might be very expensive. And so you have to make a judgment call on, hey, is this something I want to try to play with? Maybe I do play with it, but I don't invest my entire stack, right? So there's a risk reward that investors have to look at. There's a risk reward that developers have to look at, and you have to be mindful. You have to be very smart. It's no longer okay for people to just rely on what everyone else says. You have to think for yourself, and you have to give people an opportunity to have their piece, say, give their position, and then try to do the best job you can. So that's basically my thing, that I just wanted to make sure that when we look at new projects going forward, that we're giving everybody an opportunity to speak, and then give them constructive feedback, but don't just yell scam. Don't just say, no, we're not going to talk about that. Don't just bring up examples in the past that aren't actually relevant because you don't know what you're talking about, just so you could, feel like you know what you're saying or look good in other people's minds, or maybe your ego is too big and too inflated now, and you can't handle the fact that something else could come out.
What? No one's got inflated egos. What are you talking about?
So yeah, that's basically it. There's Richard said this before too, is that just because you invested in Bitcoin early doesn't make you it doesn't qualify you to speak on Bitcoin. Maybe you really don't. Maybe you just got lucky. Maybe you're a Peter McCormick who just bought in early, but he obviously doesn't have the credentials to speak on Bitcoin or anything else for that matter. And so you don't want to be the guy in Pulse and HEX that bought in early, but you really don't have the credentials to speak on anything. You just got lucky. So, now is an opportunity for yourself to show that you're a smart person, that you can think critically for yourself, and then be a valuable member. Other than that, just shut up, because you're going to wreck people. So.
Yeah. And this goes over to this tweet that Rackham put out here. Grant development discussion, PulseChain Overwatch partners welcomes open public dialogue. In your opinion, what are the biggest projects needing development over the next 12 months? So just in our show notes, I just pulled a bunch from the comments here, but does anybody want to start with what they like to see, and not giving away anything that you personally might be working on?
I'll give the one that I already put out there.
What is that, Motley? I've never heard of it.
Hex pool for the bigger pays better bonus.
Yeah,
working on that's one of the things I'm working on building, along with some others
that will not be mentioned.
Yeah, of course, because that the pool's been done. Obviously, it's a known feature in Hex that can be capitalized on. So I'm not as worried. And Vince and I needed some data points, so we put those polls out there. So the other projects though, gonna wait to release those.
Yeah, one of the things that I keep seeing up is fiat on ramp, fiat on ramp, fiat on ramp. So it's
that's a little different too, right? Because that brings in a lot of legalities, and it's not just code, right? You got to go, especially if you're trying to do it through the US. That's a lot to do. There's a reason why Coinbase is the only really fiat based on ramp in the US, or there's very few other ones than Coinbase. There's a lot of other stuff than just writing the code for that. Yeah, it's Gemini, Coinbase.
Mm-hmm. Kraken is not in the US. I don't know actually.
What's that? Who?
Kraken?
Oh,
Kraken.
Yeah, I think they're San Francisco.
Kraken is, yeah. Poloniex just got sued though.
Yeah.
By the SEC.
That wasn't too long ago.
Hey guys, I think I have to jump off the stream. It's really, really late where we are. So thanks for letting us come on the stream. It's really, really interesting. Every single time when I'm with those OG Hexkins, I learn something new, and this is amazing. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and really proud of that I know so many smart guys of you, and I learned so many things. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, also from my side, keep up the great talk. I hope nobody is upset that I like to debate and ask questions.
No, not at all. All good.
We will have you back on. We'll make up a cool graphic with you and Big K boxing ring or UFC octagon or something, and you guys can debate.
So. Awesome, and then we can sit together and
keep up those sweet dance moves.
Cabana will be like the referee that tries to interject every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. Be like Herb Dean breaking up the fight too quick.
Yeah.
So, and we are also looking forward for everybody who is in the US
Road
to meet
trip.
you in person. And keep up the great talk. Thanks for Cabana to make this show. You know, I hope each and every day you gain more eyeballs and more followers and everything, you know, because that's what what we need. We don't need to sell anything. We just need more eyeballs, and then more and more people will just see the value what we already know.
Yep.
Absolutely.
100%.
There's a different show for everybody in Hex now, and it's awesome. So we have our own kind of little audience here, and I look forward to this every week. Pretty sure with the exception of Motley that everybody looks forward to this. And
what's that? I wasn't listening, but
I know Big Kirk does. So yeah, I mean, and the chat has just picked up. I mean, it's hard to keep up with the show and the chat, which is an awesome problem to have. So I'm very thankful, and I'm looking forward to doing more of this because it's great, and I thank you guys for wanting to come on and sharing your expertise as well. And we'll keep it going here for a little bit because we have a few ideas to get through. But just closing out, Patrick and A-Bit, you have your world tour or US tour schedule lined up. And I just like a personal comment, I think I'm in Nashville, when you're like here in DC doing your workshop. So if you're in DC a couple days after between there and Richmond, I'm definitely getting together. Hopefully Motley's here and Freddie Quotes and all the other local guys too. We'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah, it might be important.
Well, also nice to have like a casual, non-public meetup with some OGs. I also like to have some
good times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can't wait. So thank you guys again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't wait for the US tour.
Yeah.
That's right, Freddie.
Exciting.
We'll all hang out. Motley will, I guess, be on some island already. He's like,
hey, Wendy's is coming with me too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we're yep, and then maybe Wasabi as well. So
yep,
it's time to start looking into that, boys. If you saw the past legislation and everything, it's not going to get easier on crypto. It's going the other direction. It looks like over the next couple of years. So start looking into it now rather than later, because you don't want your back pressed against the wall.
Of America.
Yeah, no, thank you. So start looking into it now. Don't be waiting last minute to do it, because you might not get out unscathed.
Yep. Well, let's talk a couple more ideas while we're on the subject. And I mean, I'll just throw them out here because these are kind of the ones that were in the responses. But if any one of these jumps out at you, I know, I sent everybody notes that Motley didn't read. But Ryan Pello, blockchain app for taxes and the legal side of crypto, like establishing legal entities, businesses, trusts, LLCs.
I think that's an awful idea.
Awful?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is awful?
Tell me why you need a blockchain for that. What about Richard talks about this
kind of like
Richard's. Give me a reason why that gets better on the blockchain. It doesn't, right? Like
not a bad business venture. Not a bad business venture.
Right. Yeah. And you can
blockchain specific or
crypto oriented. Like I know Wasabi, for example, him and his friend are actually looking to set up a business like that, but it's in the real world. You don't need a blockchain for that. What about decentralization, or like what does the blockchain bring to this that you need that?
Well, let's just cut to the chase. How is that going to pump Pulse? Because you need transactions.
How is this going to pump my bags?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you want to build it, cool.
Look,
but
for attendees, it's in the name.
Hey, attendees are cheap. I don't know, but
not like chicken tenders.
Yeah.
No. Okay, that's where my mind went.
But no, for that idea, I just don't see what the blockchain benefit of it is. But hey, if you want to build it on PulseChain,
it would be a private business. Like if you look at any of the tax softwares for crypto, they're off chain. Thank God, and thank God for that, right?
Wasn't this
do your taxes?
Wasn't this thread for people to come build stuff though on the blockchain? Isn't that the thread you're on, or are we on something else?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the replies.
Just the grant development.
Real world business. Great idea. Blockchain, Not so
absolutely.
much. I don't think.
No.
It's a really slow database.
Yeah, enjoy the slow database.
Yeah. In your opinion, what are the biggest projects needing development over the next 12 months?
Yep.
I think he's specifically saying, obviously PulseChain. But if that doesn't fit, that's why we're here. That's why we're throwing all these ideas out there. Just a general one from Hextopia, actually a wide net here, but privacy solutions are needed and needed big.
Privacy token.
Yeah, privacy coin would be.
It's going to become more and more important as we see with legislation. So maybe next, I don't think as much maybe this cycle, but we've talked about before, maybe next cycle it becomes a little bit more pressing, being able to better control your privacy as government likes to insert themselves in between you and your money more and more. Pulse needs marketing? Yes. Agreed.
All right. And this one, where are we at here? Who was this one from? My last one. Oh, it was Ego Emporium. So this one would love to have Hex PulseChain banks similar to what Caitlin Long has done. And then I actually had that also brought up here.
But again, like those are like good businesses, and maybe it'll like intersect with blockchain. But like we're talking about like dApps, right? We want dApps built, and we want dApps with high transactions, right? Because the more transactions,
give me your gambling, give me your all the
yeah. That's why I suggested gambling games.
Like, gambling, even like some blockchain games, maybe like NFTs. Essentially, you just want people like clicking buttons,
all that
right?
Stuff.
Like like Hex is great. Hex is great for a lot of things. It's not really that great for transactions, right? Because even if you're staking once a day, that's one transaction, right?
Yeah.
So we want stuff where you're like clicking, compound. You're clicking claim this, claim that. You're clicking, like you're just clicking buttons that are processing transactions. And since the fee will be so low, people don't care about clicking that. And every time they click, they're burning Pulse. Yeah. And that's what we want.
Fast tracking the deflation of the coin.
Kind of like a, what was the Gods Unchained or whatever that was like supposed to be like this
stuff like that. DeFi, obviously, I think a
what
lot
about,
of DeFi chains would benefit from being on Pulse.
What about dollar costs fantasy of Decentraland moving over?
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be awesome, right?
Exactly. They're crushed by Ethereum, right?
Absolutely.
Like literally crushed by Ethereum fees right now. So that would be a perfect example of an ecosystem that could move over to Pulse, no problem.
I mean, truthfully, there's a lot of DeFi. You're priced out. I mean, even me, I don't like spending thousands of dollars on transaction fees, like even moving like millions of dollars around. So like small people, they definitely don't like doing that. So I mean, bringing DeFi over there would be awesome. Yeah, bringing DeFi, liquidity farming. Although it's really got to be done right. So I trust myself to build it. I trust like Richard to build it. But otherwise, I'd really want it to be done right, and I wouldn't want it to be rushed out right away. I want to make sure that that's good, because there are some like potential vulnerabilities when you add that kind of stuff. But I think that would be great. I'm a huge fan. I've let it be known that I love LP farming and stuff. Made a lot of money doing that. So if you could do that, and you could do it with Pulse and some other coins and everything like that, I think it would be awesome. I think there's so many ideas. I just think that the community in general just needs to open up their mind, and I think it's good to be like skeptical about stuff, but let people prove themselves.
Don't become the toxic Bitcoin maxis that you hate.
Yeah,
because a lot of you are. Honestly,
and I know Overwatch was kind of, he put that thread out there in hopes of course, idea generation. But at the same time, that was, I think, most of what I had seen there. But from just this brief discussion, it's like shouldn't there also be an outreach campaign, or something just a little bit more organized for a Mana, Decentraland kind of thing, and these gambling games or something.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Like people that are in those
NFTs,
communities, like
especially,
Dollar Cost and Wasabi, should reach out to them. Yeah, and if you're in those communities, yeah, reach out to them and hit them up. I'm personally going to be hitting up. I'm in talks with some DeFi people, some like DeFi founders and stuff like that, because I have millions of dollars on their platform. So, if I can get them to switch over, I mean, not only I benefit from lower transaction fees, but they pump my bags, and I like that.
I mean, a lot of these guys, they're all getting copied over anyways. They just need the community to come over and build the front end. So it's here. It's here.
You just need the front end built. Yeah.
Nothing like this has ever taken place before. Like give them a heads up. Like it's weird because we lose sight. We lose sight. We think because this is all we do, this is all we know. We lose sight of the fact that not everybody knows about HEX. Not everybody knows about PulseChain. Like, really don't. There's a shit ton of the crypto space that just never heard of Richard, never heard of HEX, never heard of PulseChain. Like, go out there and reach out to other communities. Like Wendy said, like, it's important to be in those other communities, listen, see what's going on, and then it plays a beautiful part when something like this situation comes up where we have a new network now. We have PulseChain. Now go reach out to those communities like, hey, you're struggling with those gas fees over here? Well, Decentraland, you can move all your shit over here and you can pay pennies for the dollar. The entire system state's already copied over. You get to keep all your rare collectibles. You can come claim them over here and you guys can transact and you guys can revitalize what Decentraland was before Ethereum fees got out of control.
And everybody has a part, right? So there's some old school people, that have been in HEX. Some of us have made a lot of money. Some of us are building stuff for Pulse with the purpose of bringing adoption to the chain in the hopes of pumping our bags, right? You don't necessarily have to build, though. You could also help shill. You could contact other projects that you like that are on ETH and that are crippled, by the gas fees, like we were saying. And, so you don't necessarily have to build. You can also, just be a member of the community. If you see a project that's going to be coming over and you like, cool.
Be fucking Richard's PR rep. Go out there and reach out to all these big influencers. Reach out to people outside the crypto space. Just like, hey, I know a multi-billionaire that would love to come on your show. He's an entertaining guy. Just raised $27 million for charity. Very knowledgeable on multiple different subject matters. Like, very entertaining. Does really well. Has a amazing audience, and like, go out there and be his PR rep. There's tens of thousands of you out there. Go out there. Like, I know Marco the Hexican has set up a couple interviews just by doing and I've done it as well. It's just send out some super chats. Go email. They all have points of contact via email or chats or what you name it. DM them and start laying the groundwork. Like, the smallest things you can do can lead to some of the biggest pumps you see of your bags, because you just bring more eyes and more awareness to what HEX is, what PulseChain is, what we're building over here.
Yeah, we're going to do this together, or we're not going to do it at all, right? Like, if we don't like band together as like a Pulse community for supporting people building, using your Pulse to speculate on stuff that's being built,
we fail.
Then it's going to fail. It's going to fail. So
and
I don't want
that's
to see
a good
that.
point.
And, we're doing our part. So everybody needs to do their part, or whatever that may be.
That's a good point, because we have it twisted, right? Because Richard is amazing. He's very smart, but he's still human. And I know Wendy's and I have had this conversation before. Wendy's brought this point up. He's still human. Like, the guy has been wrong. The guy can make mistakes. We're kind of in the sense, we're almost like to the point, like slightly delusional and hypnotized by the fact, like, Richard can do no wrong. Like, anything Richard builds, like, it's got to succeed or whatever. It's not true. Like, PulseChain can fail. Like, not to be a Debbie Downer, but it can fail, and it needs to gain adoption to succeed. So, like, again, everyone has to do their part. Like, this could all crash and burn if we just treat it like toxic maximalists, like Bitcoiners, or any community that's just toxic to everyone else. Like, you need to be accepting. You need to go out there. If you're not going to build, you need to go out there and advertise. If you're not going to go out there and advertise, do your part and maintain the system. Like, there's everything you can do is going to help PulseChain for the long run. Just don't flood your own bags. And that's why I like bump heads with Patrick a lot. because he's almost flooding his bags of hex on Ethereum, which just to me just still blows my mind because like I was like, Patrick, like you don't need to do that. You got both. Like they can both be very successful.
Like to sell them, but I just think that like you could potentially be misleading people who don't understand and don't think about like the potential like long-term implications. Like what if,
you gotta be careful.
What if it went wrong? And then hex on Ethereum did win out, and you sold all of it for pennies. You know,
I mean, what if PulseChain failed, and now you lost? Not only did you lose your PulseChain bag, but you lost your copy of Hex because you went all in on PHEX. Like you're fucked. You're back at ground
worst
zero.
Case scenario: stake it out far. If you don't have a lot, stake it out far. And you know, if it fails, okay, and if it succeeds, awesome. You know, your gas fee might be $150,000 in 15 years, but guess what? You might be claiming $100 million. So you know,
exactly,
you just don't know. And you, exactly. And like you think that that's not possible, but anybody who's been in Hex a long time knows that it's possible, and anybody who's been in Bitcoin knows that
6 million
that kind of stuff is possible.
Yep,
6 million X. Imagine.
What I think someone did the math. What was it like? $300 something hex was like 6 million X, I believe, or something like that. 300 something. Yeah. Crazy. And we're tracking a lot faster than Bitcoin was back in the day. A lot faster. Tracking faster than Bitcoin, faster than Ethereum. Like we're on the path for it. So it's coming. It's only a matter of time.
Well, isn't
don't screw yourself is all I'm saying.
Yeah, Overwatch brought up adoption earlier, like
bounties.
Yeah, like isn't the NFT space like the spot right now to do that for high, like just people getting killed on fees? Like I follow like Tendies does a variety of accounts in the industry, and Modern Investor yesterday was just freaking out about all the fees that he's having to pay for.
Someone screenshotted they had to pay 2.5 Ethereum to like to purchase like this one NFT that was worth like a tenth of an Ethereum or 2/10 of an Ethereum. Yeah, like it's just like it just doesn't work, right? It just brings everything to a standstill. So yes, a lot of us in the community like NFTs aren't our thing. It's not what we're interested in, but there's thousands and thousands of other people that would be more than happy to know that they have a copy of their beautiful sacred NFT over on the PulseChain, and guess what? They can actually buy it, they can sell it, they can get more, and they can come over and transact with us and not have to worry about it. And then imagine what happens when you have the entire NFT community working on PulseChain. Validators can money, your Pulse bags are gonna pump, like the coin becomes more and more deflationary. Like it's just a win-win for everyone, and you don't have to go and shit on the NFTs like a fucking maxi idiot and just like, oh, NFTs are stupid. Yeah, maybe they are, but you don't need to fucking shit on the goddamn community. Let them do their thing. They enjoy it, they think they can make money off of it, or they appreciate the art, just like people say they appreciate the
just remember this, nobody buys your shit coin when you're shit talking theirs, right?
No.
So if you say like, oh, you're fucking shit coin, you're a retard, like you're buying this, and then they're like,
oh,
they're gonna see the light. No, they will like out of spite.
No, they're out of spite. They're not gonna buy your thing.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing to be gained. Just
it's like understanding, and I know it's hard because Hexkins have been involved with Hex, and not all Hexkins own Pulse, but it's like with Hex, you own the coolest piece of playground equipment, the one that all the cool kids, at least we think we're cool, and Hexland, the one that everybody plays on. With Pulse, you own the entire freaking playground, and you want everybody in there. You go ahead.
Yeah, so, no, it's good.
Well, really quickly, I'm gonna jump out. I gotta go get dinner. But thanks for having me on, Cabana. It was cool.
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to say my piece. And I'll see everybody else next time.
Well, if I would have known that, I would have just had you on, let you speak, and go. But thank you as always, man. I appreciate it.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, later.
Yeah, as Rackham says, don't pee in your own pool.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's they're two different things, and we have to understand that. They've been misunderstood for like a couple weeks. Okay, we'll get over it. We'll get past it. Welcome these things with open arms, especially the high transaction, things, even things that we've been trained.
Pools either.
Yes, we've been trained to,
it's a little bit of de-brainwashing, right?
Yes, exactly.
You just gotta pull back a little bit, pull back. Yeah. Just, guys, we built a network now. It's no longer just a token. We have a network. So a network,
right,
you need
exactly.
like
you gotta switch the mindset.
We own the fucking playground now. Hex is just one of the cool toys on the playground. Other people are going to come to play. We want other people to come play. We want new friends because those new friends bring money with them.
Yeah, we have a new reality now, so our worldview has to change with it.
Oh, agreed. Agreed, Vince.
Yeah. All right, what else we got? Yeah, Guy was like, I totally agree with what Motley's saying. Please push forward with what you're planning. I don't think he ever stopped. It was So we need to get the Hex community to open contract
with the devs here shortly. So
nice. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and this stream that we've had or the past 30-60 minutes, this is just what we've seen in comments. This is what people are willing to talk about. So I'm sure there's a lot that people are keeping close to the chest, and that's their prerogative. And hopefully the more the merrier, and many people out there are think tanking, getting together in private groups and whatnot. But I still think NFTs are a huge opportunity right now. Like freaking Raul Powell has Gary Vee on talking NFTs, but they won't talk Hex. So okay, maybe that is an in there somehow to Real Vision be like, okay, well, you're obviously interested in all these NFTs. How we can do that better? This is how. And come take a look at this guy.
Can you pull up Epson's comment real quick just for his buddy, just so I can comment on it? So he's just asking for his friend who has 500 USD to invest right now. It costs him $70 to transact right on Ethereum. And so should he wait? So I would say no. And a couple ways to counteract the fees right now. Show him something like Hex.Vision where it shows the high and low points of transacting with Ethereum. So usually Saturdays and Sundays are going to be optimal, usually around 11 to 12 p.m. on the East Coast, maybe even a little bit later. But show them those optimal times to transact so you can lower it there. It goes back to what we're saying.
I follow like ETH gas station.
ETH gas bot or gas station. Yep. It'll say, hey, fees are low or fees are high. So it'll show you then.
Yeah.
But optimally, like there's good rates coming up usually over the next couple of days here over the weekend. So keep an eye on that. So that's one way to lower. And then on top of that, it just goes back to what we're saying earlier, right? He's okay. Yes, fees are high, $70. You can probably get that bumped down to about $30. And are they high, or is it going to be more expensive for him to buy Hex when it's 2 to 3x higher and he missed out on a copy? Like, would it actually cost him more money? It was actually not buying now. So my suggestion: buy now. Give him the tools to show him so he understands there's actually low gas fees and high gas fees. Help him out with that. And then on top of that, if it's still cutting into too much of how much he's willing to invest. After that, you just need to take a step back and look, if you want to escape the rat race, if you want to actually become wealthy, you have to have skin in the game. And if you're getting tripped up on $30, $70, you need to go make some other life decisions outside of crypto. You need to sell some shit that you're not fucking using. You need to not buy useless shit that you won't use in the future. You need to cut back on going out to eat. You need to go buy cheap groceries at Aldi's or Lidl's or whatever is a cheap grocery store around you. You need to go make some life changes that are going to enable you to invest more, and you don't have to worry about an additional $30, $40, $70 fee. But again,
I ate peanut butter jelly sandwiches for a long time.
Bro, I love peanut butter sandwich. I hate them together. Don't question me. I like them separate, but I don't like them. I like them separate, but not together.
I pretty much haven't had one since that happened. But yeah, I mean, literally for my, if you ever heard my story, literally, I spent 2 years eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day. I was spending less than $1 a day, and literally just shoveling all of my money that I had into
ramen's good. Hot dogs. Hot dogs. I love hot dogs, even though they're just like fucking shit. But I like hot dogs and they're cheap. Like you just gotta give them the tools to show them how to navigate the Ethereum gas fees. Again, like I said, a couple days coming up, they're gonna be good or as good as it's gonna get for a while. And then again, just do some altercations in the real world to be able to afford more to invest. you got to risk it for the biscuit sometimes. Otherwise, you're just gonna be running that hamster wheel for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Did you mention one of your favorites that I always hear? Sell all your shit that you don't use.
Yeah, fucking sell that shit. Gary V preaches that shit all the time. Like, yo, I can still go around my house and look at a bunch of shit that just sits here, takes up space. Like, so I'm coming. I get out of the Navy next week, and then after that, I'm gonna be scheduling a move probably to go back to Florida. So like, I'm gonna sell a lot of my shit. I'm bringing my computer. I'm bringing my guns. And then some artwork. Other than that, everything needs to go. So like I'm literally just going around the house, just taking pictures of shit, put it on OfferUp, put it on Facebook Marketplace, $100 here, $100 here, $80 here, $40 here, and it's useless shit you haven't touched in years. Like it adds up. And like one thing he or she sells on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or whatever, that right there pays your gas fee, and then you're able to invest that full $500. So right there, there's your solution. You don't even have to worry about the gas fees. But again, it's just thinking outside the box and realizing that this is the kind of stuff, investing in stuff like this, that truly enables you to generate life-changing wealth. And like everyone on stream here has already witnessed an example of it. And it's not a short-term thing, right? It took us 2 years. It took us battling FUD. It took us having diamond hands. It took us education and learning about HEX in the process over years and years when the information wasn't there, right? Like it's a lot harder to obtain information when there's no sources of it. Now you guys have fucking too much. You have too much information. It's 24/7. It's coming out of your freaking ears. So a lot of the newcomers coming in, they have tools and information that was not available to us in the start, but taking the steps now sets you up for the future. And I know Wendy's and I agree on this 100%. It's just, I'd rather make a short-term sacrifice for a year or two and eat those fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches nonstop, so I don't have to worry about money for the rest of my life. And it's worked out that way.
Yeah, not to create
come to fruition.
Not to create a personal FOMO for Piston there regarding his question, but I'm kind of looking this, and bear with me, but as a sort of big payday event, the Snapshot, because this is your kind of it is your last chance to get your copy on both chains. Otherwise, afterwards,
speculation after that.
Yep. And you look at it as I was talking with Wave 3 the other night. I was like, look at it, even if you don't have faith in HEX on Ethereum, if you don't have any faith whatsoever, you have severe doubts before the Snapshot, look at it as a free lotto ticket. You have a free lotto ticket, and if that thing turns out, you will be happier than your wildest dreams. But at least you're going to have your PHEX, if that's what you think is the one that becomes the main one. Perhaps they achieve parity. Who knows? But
either way, you'll have the main one.
You will have the main one.
You'll win either way.
Yeah.
Yep. So what is his opportunity cost of not buying now? It seems like that gas fee is a lot, but in reality, it's actually crippling him not to buy now. So my recommendation, buy now.
I've literally told my friends, to increase their DCA. So if they were DCAing once a month, I'm like, once a week.
As much as you can.
Yep.
There's not much time left.
Because we don't know. Yeah. I mean, we'll get a little warning of a window or a block when it's going to happen. But
guess what happens with that warning?
Yeah, we could moon, boys.
Yeah, this is a great comment. I love this from Hex19. Wife and I shared a rice bowl in the mid '80s when I was trying to start a tech business. Learned at the time I sucked at that. Many failures before Hex, but you figured it out, right?
He took the chance, and then he also him and his wife took the necessary steps they needed to take that chance to better their lives for themselves. And you're going to have failures, and he learned from it, right? So when the right opportunity did come, him and his wife were prepared, and they learned from the mistakes of the past. But you got to take that shot. I mean, and this is the thing when I learned early on in real estate. Like for me, I never had an issue with pulling the trigger or jumping in. Like I always did the necessary research I needed, and I never had the issue with pulling the trigger and going for it, because like to me it was like, what's the point of learning all this if you never actually implement it? But I also noticed going throughout the years, a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people can read the books, can go to the seminars, can pay thousands of dollars for the course and the knowledge, and they're just too afraid. They never take the leap. They never pull the trigger, and they just remain paralyzed for their entire lives. You gotta act on the knowledge at some point. So like, this is your chance. Look, there's a dip. Go buy it.
Now,
buy it. Yeah.
FOMO. Yeah. Sparkletooth, yeah, I would do anything for Hex, but I won't do that. Sell my guitars. Well,
Yeah,
but
you don't have to.
But that's your happiness. Like you're
sell the shit that you don't use.
You're doing this to achieve
something
ultimate long-term happiness. So don't sell the shit that you love. You know,
or look at it this way, Sparkletooth. Sell your guitars now, unless there's one that really has sentimental value. But if it's just a guitar you like, sell them now, and then be able to buy any guitar you want in the future, right? So me and Wendy's, we love fucking watches. Like we are obsessed.
we don't love fucking watches. We like watches.
We just like watches, luxury watches.
That's just weird. That's just weird.
Thank you for clarifying.
I don't even know how one would fuck a watch, but Wendy's probably could if he would. Yeah. But no, we love luxury watches, and it's expensive as shit, right? And we could buy pretty much any watch we want to right now. But again, what's that opportunity cost of buying the watch now, or delaying that gratification as long as possible, and being able to buy that watch and then have it not affect me whatsoever? Like Big K says, like live off the interest. Like I want to be able to buy that watch with interest. I don't want to cut into my principal to buy some absurd watch like Richard has that costs a house on my wrist. Like, could I do it? Yeah, but I'd have to cut into principal, and then I'm shorting myself in the future. So I'm not trying
T-shares, man.
I'm not trying to do that. So like, it's an expensive hobby. It's an expensive passion, just like you with your guitars. But maybe you give up that guitar in the short term. I sold all my watches.
Well, you could say what we did to like quench the thirst for a while.
You want to tell them what nice watch we? I mean, it didn't really thirst.
Oh, yeah,
it didn't really quench the thirst for me, but I
did
still
for like a week or so.
For a week.
I mean, I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah. I used it in Santorini.
Yeah, we got some like Casio. We got some Casio G-Shocks at like $100. You know. But,
yeah. They're kind of styled after the APs, but they're really cool looking G-Shocks. And I mean, I can be happy with any kind of watch, and that's the thing too, right? Like I can, in the short term, if I really, really, really need to watch, I could get a Omega or something that's just cheaper, not like a Rolex or an AP or a Patek. But again, it's just delaying gratification, so you can buy whatever you want at no expense to you in the future. And it's just delaying gratification. So maybe consider, if you have guitars that
that's a key to success, truthfully.
Yeah, really if those guitars don't get played, if you have 5 or 6 guitars and a lot of them don't get played and they don't have any sentimental value, I'm telling you, consider selling them now. And then look, you can buy 2 to 3x amount of those guitars in the next couple months.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that's how I view it. So if there's no sentimental attachment to my worldly possessions, I'm just looking at how many of the multiples of those can I buy with that down the road. And with Hex, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's kind of like
4,000x without staking, a lot. You can have 4,000x of those guitars right now if you sold them on day one, invested in Hex.
It goes back to what Richard said in the very beginning. I think before even Hex launched, he's like, "Do you like Bitcoin? That's cool. Do you like Ethereum? Do you like all your other coins?
You could have more Bitcoin.
You can have more if you perhaps get into Hex." So
yeah. I can sort of speak to Sparkletooth's experience a little bit since I'm a fellow musician. But I ended up selling most of my instruments and music gear during the launch phase, and it was a difficult decision at the time. But right now I have no regrets.
Pretty happy with it right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I can just buy any stuff I want. So
anything with interest now, right? Not even principal. Like it could just be your interest.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, Uncle Larry had a comment here that followed up on that. I will sell anything if I can learn this and become comfortable. And I've seen you comment, Larry, before, and it sounds like you're willing to learn and getting there. Like Motley and I'm guessing everybody here have taken hours, days, weeks, whatever, in learning this, and we feel comfortable with, even being, quote OGs or whatever you call, like in from, close to the beginning, we're still putting some into Hex. If we see a dip that we like, we're getting it. Why do we do that? Because we feel very secure. We've taken the time to learn, and we feel totally comfortable with even buying at these high prices at like 14 cents or 15 cents or whatever. So I think, the more that you immerse yourself with, live streams, videos. You know, there's so many hexkins that have instructional videos. The more comfortable that you'll get. I don't, again, like with Piston earlier, don't want to like, you know, try to create any personal FOMO, but whenever the snapshot does happen, I mean, that you lose that opportunity of at least getting a copy, you know, on 2 chains. So just something to consider. Yeah, you if you research it and you stick with it over time, you allow yourself to learn, you do become way more comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know if he was the person that was saying it earlier, but somebody was saying that they like don't even understand, you know, what we're saying and stuff. That is true of any hobby. Okay, that is true of any hobby. Okay, when I you know, my profession was a nurse. When I started as a nurse, I couldn't understand what the nurses were saying to each other when they were giving report. I didn't understand a single word that they were saying, other than like and yeah, that person's name. So, and it's the same thing with finance. It's the same thing with military, cars,
everyone talks
watches,
in acronyms,
the military.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. The more you listen, the more you consume content, you know, financial content and just content in general in whatever area you want to learn. Eventually you pick it up.
It's a new language.
Like people who like learn English by watching TV. Yeah.
Yep. It was the same thing when I first got into crypto last cycle, like mid 2016, early 2017. What really drew me into crypto first wasn't really like buying the coins or anything like that. It was because I was big into just finding new ways to earn passive income, because I'd already got my feet wet with real estate. And then I heard that you could mine this magical internet money 24/7 and just like then turn around and sell it. I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. So I just went full bore into learning how to build my own mining rig, and I didn't know really shit about computers. So it was like almost having to learn 2 different languages, right? I had to learn the language of like computers and technology, and then also learn crypto language. And man, it was a lot to bite off, but I was better for it. And it took an obsession, right? And a good way, and the way I did it too was like I bought like 8 to 10 grand worth of like computer equipment. I'm like, well, I gotta learn now. Like I'm invested, so like at that point, it was sink or swim. Like I had too much capital invested into it, and then that just puts a fiery passion into you. It's like, well, I have this much capital in this. Like I need to learn. I need to figure out the language. And I was in every chat room. I was talking to guys, learning 24/7. I was watching YouTube videos. I was reading. And it was just, I was consumed for like the next month or two. Like I'm building these rigs. I was having issues with flashing the BIOS and getting them to stay stable and run 24/7. And I'm like, fuck, I need this thing running. I need this thing running. And it made me better and smarter in the long run, just being able to pick up on the lingo, pick up on the new language. And then it set me up for success when HEX came along, because I was prepared. I was familiar with the space. I knew what was going on, and I could spot something that's going to be successful because I was privy to it. I knew about the lingo. I knew about what was going on. And that was just thanks to me taking the time, being obsessed, falling down the rabbit hole years before, and being ready for that opportunity when it came to take that leap, to take that plunge, to pull the trigger. I was ready for it this time. Whereas back in 2010,
you don't get great at anything unless you put in the work.
Got
to. The way it is.
Got to do it. You got to lift. You got to work. You want muscles? You got to go work out. They don't just miraculously grow on themselves. Nope. You gotta go pick up heavy things and put it back down.
But you will get there if you really want it. If you that was like one of the driving forces for me. It was like I wanted to be free. I saw like work as like modern day slavery, and I wanted to be free. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted. I wanted to be able to spend time with who I wanted. And there's nothing worse than if you had like a sick kid at home, or a loved one that's going through something, and you have to like go and clock in, or you got something that's going on in your life and you got to clock in. The freedom of being able to do whatever you want is truly liberating, and it's worth more than any Lambo. It's worth more than any Rolex. It's worth more than anything that you'll ever. The ultimate hex flex is freedom, and you can get there. I believe in you. We're speaking from experience. I'm still putting in. I put $500,000 in this week, or maybe last week, but like recently. So I still believe that this is early. And if you look at like Bitcoin in 2010. You would be like, you would be like ready to like knock somebody off to get into Bitcoin back then. This has been a better store of value. Okay, you guys don't even realize how lucky you are.
OGs are buying at almost a 4,000x their initial buy-in. We're still buying today at 4,000x, and most of us have multiples of X more money than what we did early on. and it's just because we know where we're going. We have a big picture of that, and it's a perspective thing, right? Like a lot of OGs like, man, Hex is expensive today. It's like, is it expensive today, or is it, or in the next like 6 months or the next year, are you going to be kicking yourself like, holy shit, why didn't I buy 15-cent Hex as we sit at like $1.25?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
imagine at $100. Imagine at $100, and you're like stressing about 15 cents. Like, are you joking me right now?
Yeah.
Are you joking me? Like, somebody would want to slap you. You could have bought it 15 cents. Yeah,
it's like, oh, you thought you had enough?
I am buying 15 cents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same here.
That was just you there for a second, the wick up, but yeah.
Wick it down. I still got more powder. Wick it down.
Did I do that? Yeah.
Did I do that, Urkel? Just going through the comments here. I don't know if you've been with us right from the beginning, Guy, but I think you have actually. But yeah, the thing that's been the biggest disappointment for me personally has been the appearance of infighting between communities and Hex. I mean, that could go a couple different directions. It could be, maybe you're talking about streamers, or maybe you're talking about people wanting to build things and then getting,
it just happens as the community grows larger.
Yeah,
that's inevitable.
Yeah. Yep, and
egos get in place, and people end up talking trash about somebody, and it whatever it is, like somebody could be literally having a bad day, and sometimes they might say something that sets somebody else off, and yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, it's going to happen. Yeah, it's sad, but like that's the reality in every community.
And it's good to have it's good to have perspective on it too, right? Like sometimes, like we all say stuff that we didn't mean to say. We all act inappropriately at times. Like, have some self perspective and realize when you fuck up. Like, not everyone's perfect. Like, if you make a mistake or you say something stupid, like, be the bigger man and just apologize. Like, don't let your ego get the better of you and just stubbornly continue to fight and debate and argue when you fucked up. And most of us know, or at least maybe it takes time for us to cool off, but we're like, oh yeah, I handled that really poorly. Like that was not necessary. I didn't need to do it. I didn't need to do it that way. Be reflective on situations where stuff like that does arise and correct him. Go be the bigger man and just like, hey, like if you fucked up, apologize for it. Like I was wrong. That was my mistake. And squash that shit. I mean, all this shit's virtual, right? Like, so we can't go and fucking duke it out like we would in person, just like fucking slug each other and then hug it out afterwards. So
things would move a lot quicker if we could.
Yeah, you probably just need to throw a few fists, but we can't do that. We're in this digital age, and a lot of us are across the country or out of the country. So you just gotta be the bigger man sometimes. If you were in the wrong, go and apologize and squash that shit. Be fucking adults. Don't act like you're goddamn little girls and children on stream, out on Twitter or whatever. Just be the bigger person. Be the example to people that you should be or you want to be. Don't be a child.
Yeah. Rothko,
or we will duke it out eventually.
Yeah.
Or we will break kneecaps.
Rothko has a great point here. It took me months to be comfortable. Still bought in, but wasn't until I got it that I am confident. Same with onboarding. Didn't tell a soul until I got it. So yeah, I mean, it just takes time. It's not overnight. Yep. I'm just, I'm of mind that the snapshot is like a very rare opportunity. So I'm not saying you must get it tonight, but it's going to be a big event for those who can get in, I believe.
When Hex first started, like I was like, this is it, because I made a promise to myself long ago, and I've talked about it on stream before. Like when I missed my opportunity with Bitcoin, just because I didn't have the education, I didn't have the knowledge that I do now, I vowed to myself, once I realized what Bitcoin was and what an opportunity I missed, I vowed if that opportunity ever rose again, which in my head I didn't think it would, but I was prepared. I vowed if I ever saw that opportunity arise again, I was going to take full advantage of it. And even then, when I found Hex, I knew how amazing it was. Yes, I went all in as far as all my crypto standings were. And like, to me alone, that was a lot of commitment, and dollar cost for, I think it was like 30, 40 days, a decent amount. But I mean, it was all my crypto holdings. But could have I invested tens of thousands of more? Yeah, of course I could have, but I did it. And it took that validation. It took that confidence. Like when the Genesis whale first bought, I was like, oh shit, this is real.
This is real. Richard had the same reaction.
Yeah. I was like, because this is real, because it was, and I kick myself to this day because I was, Richard would talk about it in the old days about like, hey, all you fucking YouTube plebs that just watch my YouTube videos, like you're literally the last person to get my information. Like, come to Telegram, come follow me on Twitter. Like I hated Twitter, so I was never on Twitter, but like come to Telegram, like the community is over here. And then it took the Genesis whale to buy. I was like, fuck, this shit's real. Let me go check out the telegrams. Let me go embed myself more into the community. I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is something. It was like a whole new world opened up. And that also became a part of my onboarding process, is to make sure not only do I introduce them to Hex and the mechanics and how everything works, but introduce them to the community. Let them become a part of it. Give them all the Telegram channels. Give them, if they have a Twitter, give them the Twitter. If they have a Facebook, go introduce them to HexMac runs the Facebook channel. If they have an Instagram, show them some influencers that are on Instagram. If they have a TikTok, put them in touch with Hex TikTokers. Introduce them to the community, because that's how you get people that are truly passionate and involved in what we're doing here. And that's how you get that virality that Hex needs and will gain eventually. But that's how you increase the adoption of all that. And it wasn't until then I truly became part of the community. I saw that, oh shit, this is a real thing. And then I really went all in, right? Like I really put in the tens, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars into Hex, where if I did that shit early on, if I was fully committed, not just my crypto holdings, I could be an Overwatch partner, no problem. But at the end of the day, it's just you live.
I think I would be probably like the biggest whale in Hex if I would have had the community first.
Yeah.
I've done the
math. I've done the math. I would have been, my stack would have been on level with Overwatches. But again, it's just hindsight, right? You have to learn from those lessons and move on and continue to improve.
Yeah, going back through Chad Sappers, nearly two years of being bashed by the rest of crypto world took a while to get over. Fair enough. Hexmaniac asks, is 5 million Hex enough to retire? I'd certainly say yes, as long as you're not cashing it out next month.
Think about it in terms of T-shares, not Hex.
Like, what are your stakes like?
Not actual Hex.
That's what I want to know.
T-shares are the name of the game. Your length, your a ladder you have set up, but the name of the game is T-shares. That's what it comes down to. And that's just like that final level of game theory. It's just once you realize it's not really about the Hex, it's how many T-shares do you have. That's the end game. That's where the secret. That's where the diamond is in the rough when it comes to Hex, is learning about T-shares and learning that's the true value. It's not the Hex itself, it's the T-shares you can generate with that Hex, or your time. Let's say you can't generate as much T-shares because they're expensive now. You can forfeit more of your time to leverage for more T-shares. So the tools are there. Once you learn about them and you realize what's important, you utilize it.
So he
are you liquid because of the snapshot? Is that why you're liquid? Because if so, you might as well still do like weekly or like at least monthly stakes. I can get why somebody would want to potentially be liquid for the snapshot, but I would still say after the snapshot you should probably stake it out a while. But yeah, we all believe that like Hex is going to $100, so yeah, 5 million is definitely enough to retire one day. But yeah, get those T-shares while they're hot, man, because they're going away. They're gonna get B shares soon.
Yeah, it's just for me being liquid, and don't get me wrong, I have some liquid right now, and again, like Wendy said, it's because of just the current state we're in right now with the snapshot. There's certain things I'm going to be moving between some arbitrage plays and what have you. Is it right? Maybe not. But there is some stuff just with this unique time in the ecosystem that I do have some of my portion that I am keeping liquid. But for the most part, if you're not utilizing, if you have 5 million Hex, it's all liquid. You have 0 stakes. You're just not utilizing Hex for what it is. And it's literally the best tool, best engine, best asset to generate you yield on probably planet Earth.
But thanks for giving us more interest.
Yeah. And you suffering to inflation right. You suffering to the inflation right now is going to the sacred class. So everyone that has stakes, they're accumulating more Hex because you're staying liquid. So you just got to think of that kind of like financial seesaw. It's just like, hey, are you using this asset to its optimal efficiency? You're probably not if you're completely liquid. So reevaluate, look into maybe setting up a couple rungs. Like Wendy said, if you're looking to take advantage of some situations coming up with the snapshot, so be it. Just be careful. That is a double-edged sword. You could get burned. But at the end of the day, if you don't have some portion of your Hex staked, I think you're probably a little fucked up because you want that yield. Trust me. You want that yield. It's insane.
Yeah, anybody.
When I look how much I yield a day.
To stake backwards from 15.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best advice you can give people is just like start your rungs out as far as you want to, and then work your way back in. But the amount of yield that I'm earning per day is absolutely mind-boggling. Like it still throws me off every day when I look at that. It's like I made how much today doing nothing. Like that's where the true power in HEX is. Yeah.
Well, like my first question would be like, is how old are you? Because if you're talking retirement, I mean, and you want to retire in 10 years and you stake that, if your just goal is retirement, and I don't know, maybe do a staking ladder, for years, but $1 million here, $1 million there, I don't think it's crazy to say that's out of the realm of possibility at all to be like, yeah, you could be retired. Absolutely. But so, like we were saying, like you're diluting yourself if you're just holding it liquid.
It's a personal thing. And then I think there's also a misconception, and we probably didn't clarify this on stream. Don't get it like twisted too. Like when like I say that I'm going to be retired in the next week, or Wendy says he's retired, or Cabana's looking at retirement, or Vince is looking at retirement. Like,
oh, we're still
just because we're not doing a 9-to-5 like shackled chains slavery, punching the clock every day kind of job, doesn't mean like we're stopped working. Like we're out there hustling. Like we're looking to build on PulseChain. We're looking to do stuff in the community like these streams and marketing. Like we're always looking at the next stream of income, how to acquire a larger bag of HEX, how to acquire a larger bag of Pulse, looking into always keeping an eye open for real estate, other markets, like
possibly more crypto projects in the pipeline as well.
More crypto projects in the pipeline. Yeah, like it's not retirement. It's just freedom to do what you want. And I choose to continue to work and grow my wealth, and then that way I can have a greater impact on other people outside of my circle, right?
We just don't work for anybody else anymore. We don't work for the man.
Being our own boss. Yeah.
You have fuck you money, but then you get to continue to grind and work your ass off, and then you have, not only do you have fuck you money, but now you can bring your family along, and your family could have fuck you money just via just you being a part of a family member that was successful, like that's successful. And then you take it another step further, and then you can help other people outside of your immediate network, your family. You can reach out to charities, you can reach out to homeless, you could do stuff that makes the world a better place. You can donate money to the Sins Foundation. Again, it's just like, it's not retirement. It's just freedom from having a boss, from having people like, hey, this is what you need to do. No, you just have the freedom of choice now, thanks to HEX.
And that's the ultimate HEX flex, in my opinion, is making the world a better place. That's
selfless.
Yep. Oh, that's the best one.
Yep. Guy, again, I still started buying HEX over time. My best buy is a $1 test in the AA that is up over 30,000%. I didn't actually put any real capital in until after the whale buy. This is why I wanted to bring this up. This is a great example, and you are by far not the only one who did this, because it's that boost of confidence, right? It's that shot in the arm, and like Motley was saying, it's that holy shit, this is real moment. And what do you think's going to happen if we get to $1? The joke is, it's like, oh, well, you can, buy my HEX at $1, but wouldn't that further legitimize HEX to far more users? And you see that climbing up the coin, ranking site charts, and it's at number 1 at Nomics.
Yeah, the next target's $100.
And people everywhere are going to be like, holy crap, what is this thing? I got to get in it. And there's no way, in my opinion, that, anybody's missed the boat here. And it's why I wanted to bring this up. Just that last sentence. It's like, hey, I didn't put any real capital until after the whale buy, after I saw that price move. We get a big move, we get another one if, some would argue when, that next buy wave, that confidence wave is going to, go out to new users, and that's a whole new flood of capital I think that could come in. Just my 2 cents. Yes, AW, there are people selling houses to buy HEX, apparently.
Great.
I know there's one.
Yeah, I think I made like a 2 to 3x off that, so very happy.
Nice.
Yeah. Tom Boss, echoing the point there. Imagine when the next huge jump happens, everyone will buy in. It's just how it works. It seems almost counterintuitive because, like, why would I want to buy higher? Well, a lot of us probably wouldn't buy after a huge, candle up, but everybody else looking in be like, oh my gosh, this is probably legit now. And that's just people's mind.
It's just that new generation of investors, right? It's even like when we bought in and just the Genesis whale buy, like for us, that just cemented that, like, oh shit, this is real. And then, a lot of us probably bought again not too shortly after, and it was after the biggest candle we'd ever seen. So it's just how it is.
Vogel, why should we encourage people to stake when at the end of the day, more stakers there are, less interest we receive? Well, that's part of the game theory, right?
Good thing the OA owns 90-something% of the supply. I think we'll be okay, Vogel.
I don't think our little outreach and support moments here will cut too far into...
Well, the beautiful thing is the way Richard designed this, there's not enough supply. If 100% of people staked outside of the OA, you're looking at less than 10%. So we will be fine.
We preach this all the time. All of us are probably over 95% staked, right?
Yep.
And yet people in the stream are 100% unstaked. So there's always going to be people like that. Balance. I personally, I've already made it. Okay, so if I make 50% less interest, I still made it. I'm still retired, so I don't care. I'd rather see more people make it. I want to see more people set free, because guess what? At the end of the day, there's never going to be enough, And like Motley was saying, sometimes you got to put, like if a plane's going down, you got to put the oxygen on yourself first. So I want to see more people make it, and then more people be able to benefit the world in a positive way. If less people make it, I think it's not as good overall. So
the whale buy was April 14th, April 15th. Or maybe
it was a glorious day. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
Because I went back and looked, because I remember there's a couple of people I told to buy HEX like a week or two before that buy, and of course none of them listened.
Right here,
and I was like, "Hey, that thing I told you to buy?"
Looks like April 18th, 2020.
18th. Okay, April 18th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man,
good times.
Just so crazy.
Yeah, I remember the whole community was just elated that day. It was just wild.
Yeah. So that was the question. Just throwing it up there. What else did I miss here?
Hex Maniac wants to know what the magic carpet ride is.
Day 5 Hex going to stake 1 to 5 years. Big payday. I wanted to quit, but decided to get involved. I bought some more, but I wish I can go back in time and buy more HEX instead of invest in my business. I'm not going to fault you for investing in yourself, man. I will never do that. I mean, especially if you have a business and, if it's something that, is successful, you're still working at it. That's awesome. And that generates you income to invest, in HEX. Now, it's interesting that you brought up the big payday, because as I just casually mentioned earlier, I feel like this is an event on that scale whenever the snapshot date is announced. Not just talking price. I mean, it's just for your last chance to get a copy of coins and get your extra lotto ticket if you think ETH might not perform as well as PHEX or vice versa, whatever you think. That's the last opportunity we have like that we can at least tell for a long time. So
this comment's great too, because it highlights what I was talking about earlier about how important of an aspect it is when it comes down to community. Because if he'd been more involved in the community, he would have if you go back and look at the 24-hour live stream of all of us, like when Big Payday happened, like we were all like cheering, rooting, losing our minds, and the price was just absolutely tanking, right? Like all the traders were selling
right here.
It was tanking, and all of us, like I was like throwing up my candelabra on fire and throwing wax everywhere. Like everyone's having a good time, and then we were all like buying HEX on stream, and it's
just fifth of a cent right there.
Yes. Oh, it went lower than that. It dipped down to like 0.002. I think was the lowest wick down or something like that. Bree likes to claim claim of fame of grabbing the falling knife. But yeah, we were all buying it. It's because we had the big picture perspective because we were so involved in the community. We knew this was an opportunity to buy cheap HEX again because we knew people that were coming in for the short-term gratification and weren't willing to do the delayed gratification. We knew there was going to be an opportunity to take advantage of there. And it's the same thing, like Cabana said, that opportunity is coming again. This is another monumental point, and HEX and Pulse. Like, these events don't come along very often. This is why I've been preaching in the streams for the past couple months. Like, there's more money to be made over the next couple months than most people will make in a lifetime or half their lifetime. There's so much opportunity here. As long as you're equipped with the tools and knowledge to take advantage of it, then you can really make life-changing wealth in a very short period of time. And then you can just continue to compound that over the next year or two. So it's very important to have the proper knowledge to seize the opportunity of events like this that don't come around very often. This is a this
think
event
about
is,
think about
this
it
is an event once in the
beforehand.
next 2
Think
years.
about what you will do if something happens, right? Think about what you'll do if the price moons, what you'll do if the price dumps. Because, you know, like the big payday, I called the price. I said the exact price it was going to drop to because that's just I really had a feeling that it was going to do that. It did that. What do you think I did? I had already, you can ask Vince, I got a loan days before because I had a feeling it was going to drop that low, and I snagged that shit with a loan. So Peter McCormick, eat a dick.
Yes.
Also, don't publicize it on Twitter that you committed bank fraud either.
Oh my god.
I'm anonymous, man. I'm anonymous.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you go and he didn't even like take out, like he could have taken out a personal loan or something like that, right? But no, he took out a business loan and then goes on his Twitter, has tens of thousands of followers that hate his fucking guts, and then he literally gives them documented proof that he committed fraud to his bank. Guess what's going to happen? A lot of those haters are going to turn your ass in real quick. And that shows you what kind of IQ you're dealing with someone like that. And that person dislikes HEX because they don't get it. So that's the toxic Bitcoin maxi kind of representative they have. And that's why it's so important to keep an open mind, to
that we don't become that.
that you don't become that. I mean, God, I think we're a higher caliber to start with, so we still have a while before we go down that slippery slope. But I see the signs.
But like, if you really listen
to
the Bitcoin guys, the early Bitcoin guys get like disgusted about how the community is now. So yeah, I'm just saying
they left. A lot of them left.
That happens.
The ones
a lot of them left. So. You know, and it's the same thing with Ethereum too. Ethereum, like a lot of the guys were on Reddit, they went Twitter, you know, just because the community changes over time. So it'll happen with us, but you know, we should make an actual effort to, you know, not get like that.
Totally. I agree with that. Yeah. Aaron Gamer, what's price of a T-share? $2,753 currently. There's your answer.
Nice.
What else? Oh, guy follows up. Wasn't the whale that was a confidence boost. It was seeing the power of the community and quality of community. I actually held off after the whale buy, waiting for a dip. Okay, fair enough. A lot of people saw the whale and was like, this is real, I'm in. That's cool. That's a interesting take on that. Yes, of course you did, children.
The best community in crypto, though, for sure.
No doubt about it.
I mean, it's there's no comparison. There's really no comparison.
Well, it was funny. There was a thread. Laura Shen was asking who should she interview, right, for the hack on Polygon.
Yeah.
And the first, she had like 180 comments. The first, like, no joke, because I went through all of them. The first like 150, 60 comments was nothing but Richard Hart, all the way down. Like, it straight up looks like bots. And then each individual, doesn't matter what the comment was involving Richard Hart, had anywhere between 20 to like 60 like hearts on like 90% of the comments on her thread. And each comment had 60, 70 hearts. And if anyone looked at it, they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just like, they're like straight up, it looked like bots, but it's literally people so passionate, people so involved in the community that are willing to go through and like me, I went through the whole time. I was on the plane flying back, and I was just like, and I just went through the entire chain and liked every damn comment all the way down, because who better to talk on a situation like that than the man that's been preaching about this, that's been warning about this for the past years, been warning about how dangerous those admin keys are, and like it all seems good until it's not, and you get hit by that fucking train. And honestly, that's who she should be interviewing. It was just really cool to just see the passion, seeing everyone coming out in support. It straight up looks like fucking bots, but in reality, they're all unique individuals that are just that involved, that passionate, and something truly revolutionary in the space.
Yeah, that's just a perfect example of, community rallying, and how, I mean, just a small example, but you can times that by like 1,000 a week for all the interaction on social media. It's awesome. EF Hutton has a sad tale to tell, unfortunately. I told my long guy about HEX. Now I have to cut my own grass.
Yeah, life is rough. just hire the next long guy who hasn't heard about HEX yet.
Well done.
Involve them through.
Yeah. What's the latest news on Puerto Rico and ending our stakes without paying capital gains? Well, consult your tax attorney for one.
Yeah, not us.
Yeah. But the staking thing does. I've looked into it, and there's some uncertainty. I've also spoken to an accountant.
It's very gray.
It's time frame, and when you're, I guess,
the tax laws just weren't set up for, one, crypto, and two, DeFi just takes it to a whole nother level, and then three, you have freaking HEX.
Oh god!
Like,
don't
it's just
started.
It's literally just layer on layer of just like this system that it's already convoluted and difficult enough before you even touch crypto. And then you have crypto, then you have DeFi, then you have true DeFi and the mechanisms that HEX operates on. And you're truly in a very, 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 very gray situation when it comes to taxes, because there is no clear defined, like, this is what you need to do. Yeah, it just compounds on itself. It gets really, really muddied when you're trying to figure out how to do it. And the experts don't know. Like, they honestly don't.
They don't.
It's just how can you cover your ass enough to protect yourself, essentially.
Question: how do we try to prevent the toxic maximalist BS that is starting to show roots in the HEX community?
Call it out.
Is a panel question.
Yeah.
Call it out but you have to do. I would argue you have to do that in a certain way too, because you could also stoke the flames as well. And
yes,
got to be
but sometimes people need a hard enough slap in the face to get the point, right? Mm-hmm. Like, again, like I was saying earlier, like sometimes you literally have to slug it out, and we don't get that opportunity. So sometimes you have to come with strong words. You don't have to attack, but you need to make sure the words are strong enough to get the point across. So that, again, call it out, but then in the same token, work on your communication skills as well. I mean, that comes twofold. So you'll be able to better communicate where that person is fucking up, and you'll be able to do it in a way where they're receptive enough to take heed to your advice and work on correcting themselves, and realize that, like, oh shit, they might be right. I might be turning into what I hate, because there's a lot of people that I respect, and I see the seeds of it starting to grow, of that starting to take transformation, and I don't like it. So there's subtle ways, there's better ways that you can go ahead and just like, hey, you might want to check this out. Like, we preach against this all the time, but listen to what you just said and see it. Tell me that doesn't play out the same way that it played out in their community. Like, you want to try to stop that before you want to get ahead of it before it becomes rampant.
Yeah, I would say, don't choose sides either. Keep an open mind and participate, just as viewers, commenters, even as streamers. I really don't care about, any other drama. I ignore it, avoid it. That's just how I am in life. I laugh at it in a way. It sounds like, kind of rainbow unicornish, but, be kind to everybody. And, that's the least that you can do. But Motley's also right. If you see something, do call it out, but, in such a way that, yeah, exactly.
Everyone gets better by improving their communication skills. All of us, and I mean that's
well.
That's
and if you don't hold people
learned.
accountable, right? If you walk by a house, right, and it has a broken window, and you go by the next week and it still has a broken window, maybe a kid breaks the other window because he thinks nobody gives a shit, you know. So it's one of those things where if you don't address something negative and correct it, then it will fester and it'll grow. And that's probably what happened with Bitcoin, where they said, "Oh yeah, just attack these guys," like, you know, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. And it's like
you have
now
gangrene,
it's just
and
like,
next thing you're having to amputate your whole fucking arm.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's absolutely terrible. I mean, like Bitcoin Maxi Twitter is like literally the worst place to be. You're like, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah, it's like it's like you took one too many wrong turns and you're like in the wrong alley. Like, fuck. I'm in a Bitcoin Maxi room.
Oh, shit, I'm surrounded, boys.
Get out of here.
Piston has a great point. Hit the other antagonists even at a bar on Friday night. Move on, precisely. But at the same time, you know, I'm not saying, you know, people are trying to antagonize others necessarily. You know, there is a massaging of, you know, personalities, egos, don't, you know, overstep, but, you know, there's a way to do it, as Motley was saying. So it's just a balance there that we as a community can achieve. And I know we can, because I've interacted with you guys for years now, almost a year and a half, whatever. You know, maybe not on just this stream, but, you know, in chats for all the other streams. I see you guys everywhere in Telegram. Yeah, so yes, Crypto Learner, it's looking, you know, pretty nice, a little volatile in the past hour, but hey, Vogel quite bullish this weekend. Looks like all-time highs. Yeah, don't know about that. I'd like to see it. Love to see it. Lights out. I don't like the HEX as the only crypto talk. That mentality will kill Pulse adoption, and that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, just in terms of, you know, being guards of Pulse, having their guard up too high that are Hexkins, because people have gotten burned. So yeah, I agree with that. You can't, any maximalism is bad in my opinion. Wave 3 and I discussed this a couple nights ago on his podcast. Turns
out 20 Advil for you is not good. Shit'll fuck you up.
Yeah, I mean, you have some different wallets, and you're gonna want, you know, some ETH in there, especially if you're, you know, a Hexkin and you keep your stuff on, you know, your.
I like to be able to transact still.
East side, yeah. Yes, other former Hexicans or holders of Hex are mixing things up. Yeah, and I think that's a lot just for engagement. I'm just reading comments here. And there's another argument, and I'll just put this out there to you guys. It's like we're seeing a lot of this now, and I think still a lot of Hexicans are taking the bait. At least I view it as that.
It's hard.
Yeah, they're biting on these engagement tweets, and I'm just like, I think Motley, you may have brought it up last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, but it's like, this is what's happening. Like, they recognize, you know, that Hex is not going anywhere. It's legit now, and
they're utilizing
it for engagement.
Yeah. And it's taken a lot from me too, right? Because I'm usually I am a sarcastic asshole. So when I see those comments, like, it takes everything in my will not to go on there and just like fucking just like start laying flamethrower and everything. But it doesn't even matter, right? Because you can look it through their thread, and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about their community. They don't give a fuck about either. They don't give a fuck about your response. Other than that initial tweet they put out there, that's fucking retarded. They literally don't give two shits about that. They care about how many likes and how many comments. They're like, oh, that's cool. That got 1,000 likes, 800 comments, and 500 retweets. All right, cool. Moving on to the next retarded fucking tweet. That's all they care about. They don't give a shit about their audience. They don't give a shit about what they actually tweet about. It's like, what kind of bullshit clickbait can I throw up there to get as much engagement as possible? And people just realize they've just added Hex as another tool to their arsenal. Even the haters, they're just like, oh, I can just do some flame bait fucking Hex tweet out there, and all those fucking idiot Hexicans are going to run over here and just start attacking me like, oh no, please stop. Oh, what was that? My most liked retweeted and commented on posts. Oh, stop, please, it hurts. Oh God. And we fall for it every time. And like, I'm telling you, like it takes a lot because I want to go talk shit, but it literally serves no purpose but to push them higher up in the algorithms. And then they shill shit, they get people wrecked, and then you become just as big as part of the problem as they are for shilling that shit because you're drawing more eyeballs to them because you're increasing the engagement, you're pushing them up in the algos. So you become guilty by association. So just keep that in mind next time you see some idiot just putting an engagement tweet out there. Like, just move past it. Fuck them. They're trash. They're like a box mining. Like, do you want to boost eyeballs on another box mining that just gets people fucking wrecked and then continues to call Hex a scam because he's too retarded to either admit he was wrong or actually do the research?
Your reply should just be the whatever they shill versus our chart. And just let the fact speak for itself. You know?
But you don't even need to do that. You don't even need to post the chart at this point. Like, hey, just move on. Like, if there's if there's actually a way for you to garner some of the eyeballs of their audience, then sure. But in a Twitter thread, usually not the case, right? Because we see it. We see Twitter groups you in an ecosystem of what you're focused on. Like, I have like a Hex Twitter section, but I don't even need to go to it because Twitter already knows I'm predominantly Hex focused. So that's what it fucking shows me. Like Twitter already knows what it wants to show me. It's going to show me those comments first. So when you think you're going over there and like winning over hundreds of eyeballs from other audience, you very rarely are. You're just getting a couple trolls, couple haters, and you're just increasing the algo and engagement for another fucking shiller idiot that doesn't know anything about crypto and it's getting people wrecked. So it's not worth it, even to post the chart and other stuff. There's better ways to do it, like going on streams with these haters and challenging them, poking holes in their arguments. Do what Richard does, go on stream with them and poke holes in their arguments, let them see the fallacies and the stuff they're preaching, and then you're going to look like the intelligent individual, just like Richard does on all these streams. And guess what? That's how you win influence. That's how you win audience. That's how you win eyeballs. And that's how you gain adoption. That's how you truly do it. Throwing some random shit in Twitter doesn't do it. Ignore them. Fucking ghost them. We've been saying it. I'm
gonna hold you to that.
I know. All of you,
dunk on you.
All of you call me out. DM me like, "Hey Molly, I saw you talk shit on that one Furu's thread." It's like, yeah, I know, I fucked up. but it's hard. It's hard. It's a constant reminder. Reminder you got to do with yourself. But I have been a lot better than what I used to be. You couldn't keep me out back in the day.
All right, boys. I got to go get some food. I'm starving.
I think we're wrapping it up, aren't we?
I gotta eat at least once a day. I gotta eat once a day.
Or is there still points on your your chat
good.
That we haven't
We're
hit?
good. I did want to bring up the liquidity wall of worry, which actually looks pretty. It's looking better. Look at these nice bids back in here. We just gotta get over this little hump. It's at 16 cents. So the buy wall at 5 cents and it's moved up
5 cents.
5.4.
Was that the lowest? Yeah, something like that.
Well, it's 5.4 now, so maybe it's slowly creeping up. But yeah, right in here, all these bids is awesome. But we have like this hump to get over, so it's going to take like millions of bucks to get past. But man, starts looking like blue sky down here. Oh, so nice. So anyway,
not much resistance.
We will wrap it up as we get all the praises in the comments. Thank you guys. Motley Investor, where can we find you?
Motley Investor on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram, across the board. I need to start doing some more streams on my own. Maybe I'll do a couple this next week as I'm working on getting out of the Navy and earning my freedom.
You got nothing else to do.
Yeah, and then I got a lot to do. Actually.
Well, I'm giving you.
Again, it's that retirement, right? But then we do the Nights of the Crypto show. We just moved it to Wednesday, so Coffee can go party on Thursdays. I still don't understand why he parties on Thursdays and Fridays, but Wednesdays.
Thursdays is typically ladies' nights in a lot of establishments. So
it's ladies' night every night.
Yeah.
Any club worth its salt, it's ladies' night every night. But yeah, so new time Wednesday is 10 o'clock. It'll probably be, I think it's on my channel or Wasabi's channel next. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Vince, where can we find you, man?
Yep.
Crypto and the Hex Asians. Vince and the Hex Asians. It's like a band.
Yeah. Crypto Vince 369 on Twitter, Telegram, and Yeah, check out the HEX Asians show on Discord Syndicate Sunday, Mondays, 6 a.m. PST or Pacific Daylight Time.
Nice. Piston Motley, he's canceling his battleship order, just to let you know.
Nice. And battleships have been retired for a long time now. Anyways, so you can get one for cheap.
Wendy's
Probably in the
for
graveyard somewhere.
Wendy's for Teddy's, where can we find you, man? Hello.
You can find him. You can find him on
Motley,
Twitter
where can
and
we
Telegram.
find Wendy?
at Fortindies.
Or he's eating Wendy's now.
Bro, where you at? As his internet connection goes out. But yeah, he's either for Tindies or Wendy's for Tindies on Twitter, Telegram. He might be starting a YouTube channel here shortly, so stay tuned for that if he does.
For Tendies.
Purple coffee loves to smell women's hair. Don't quote me though. Okay.
Oof.
Thank you for that.
That's a rough initial move to go for the hair smell.
All right. Well, we will leave it there. Wendy's for Tendies is just out in the StreamYard universe somewhere. Had some sales come in, so we're butting up against 15 cents. We'll see if we can make some moves over the weekend with the HEX price. Snapshot coming up. Who knows? Well, first is testnet. Hopefully within a week. It's been like any day now, any week now. And then
last week, this week, now we're on to next week.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
So, things will get exciting. Thanks, Toby, and everybody else who's been commenting in chat. You guys are awesome. We will be back next week. Maybe if you want to hit me up on Twitter or hit us up on Twitter if you want to see Big K and Patrick have a debate, because that was quite entertaining. And that's about it. And we will see you next week. Thank you, everybody.
Later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.